Tonight, the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Truck Playoffs heads to the Bluegrass State. For the first elimination race of the playoffs, Greg Holt is locked in with his win last week at the Kansas Speedway, and with 9 spots remaining, there's 12 drivers vying for him in 3 seasons. Well, and tonight, you'll have to find out who's next here on PitStop TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Sparta, Kentucky. Devin Zimmerman joins me at the call tonight, and Vincent Cortez is on our social media coverage this evening. A flat and wide mile and a half hosts our first cutoff race of the season. Devin, how about showing us around the NASCAR track in the Bluegrass State?
We have the front straightaway there is kind of offset, so normally you're going to have the tri-oval. You'll have a nice apron that you can actually cut at these mile and a halves. Right there where the start finish line is, it's actually pushed closer to turn 1 here at Kentucky, a little bit off center. Makes it for a very unique entry into turn 1 with the 8 degrees of banking low on the track, 10 degrees banking up by the wall. On the straightaway, you're still going to see these guys running low on that straightaway. It makes the best time. Turns 1 and 2 banked at 17 degrees. You'll see us taking the low line around that turn. 4 degrees on the backstretch, really wide backstretch where you can get good runs to set up a pass, possibly into turn 3 and 4, which is banked at 14 degrees, a little bit flatter. It's very wide through 3 and 4, so you can actually use the outside lane there, pick up a lot of momentum heading in the off of the turn and into the front straightaway or the front tri-oval area. But pit road entrance is going to be tricky here. It's such a long turn between 3 and 4. You do actually get back onto the gas, and you can find yourself overshooting the entry into pit road very, very easily if we do happen to cycle through green flag pit stops. So that's something for these drivers to watch out for tonight. Other than that, I mean, it can become very one-laney here at Kentucky. You can find yourself running in a train, not really able to get around anyone if you try to duck under them through 3 and 4. The momentum of the truck can be stalled out. Also, if you use the outside too much, you can chew up that right front tire and just not get the power off the turn like you want to later on in the runs. So it's going to be a very good balancing act for these drivers to pretty much deal with the entire night. We'll have to see how they do it, and being a cutoff race, you really don't want to take any chances that you don't have to, especially if you're closer to that cutoff line on the inside looking in or inside looking out. If you're on the outside looking in, you might want to take some of those chances, and we'll be talking to a couple of those drivers, I'm sure, here later on in the pre-race show, but that is Kentucky.
And absolutely, you mentioned all the ins and outs of kind of, what you need to do here at Kentucky, and kind of this, when that happens, or when you look at it, and how you're going to approach this race, you have to play it by your scenario. And we take a look at the scenarios on the screen. Greg Holt is locked in to the next round. He's the 2nd seed right now, just based on his point total, but he has secured his spot. Joseph Causey, pretty much just taking the green flag tonight, secures his spot into the next round as well. And that's about it. That means there's going to be 8 spots remaining for 11 drivers, and we begin, with Stutzman and Ballfeld. They're 29-28 points above the cut line. They just need to have decent races tonight, not get into any trouble, and they should be a-okay to advance on to the next round. Now, this is where the math starts to get a little tighter. Kyle Lingerfeld, Tyler Markle, Seth Berger, Matthew Setzer, and Seth Fitzpatrick. All of those drivers are relatively okay, but could use some stage points to kind of secure their way into the next round. And really, it's Farron Elam, Max Service, Joshua Land Fox, and James Gilliard. Those drivers really tight on the cut line. Those are the 4 drivers that could be interchanging the most tonight as well. So a lot to watch out for on that cut line. You mentioned Max Service is one of those drivers that is outside the cut line. You look at Joshua Fox and James Gilliard as well. They're outside the cut line. Farron Elam trying to prove that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in these playoffs. He's got to survive this first round as well. Seth Fitzpatrick had great momentum at the beginning of the season. He's just on top of Farron Elam in the point standings here as well.
Yeah, that's right. And Matthew Setzer and Seth Fitzpatrick both had very good races last week at Kansas, whereas some of the drivers at the end here, Farron Elam kind of ran into trouble, was able to complete the race. Max Service, Joshua Landfox, and James Gilliard all ran into a big time trouble. Max Service multiple laps down, Joshua Landfox multiple laps down, and James Gilliard actually did not finish the race. So that's put them in a big hole. And with only 2 races per round, they really have some catching up to do to catch up to the cut line, which is Farron Elam at the moment. There's only 6 points separating them right now, and 22 points separating James Gilliard. So it can't be done with the amount of drivers that we have here tonight. So anything can happen. We saw it last week. One bad incident early in the race could really put anyone from 5th all the way back to 13th in the points right now on a big time watch to not make the next round. So don't miss a lap tonight. It's going to be very interesting the whole night on how these drivers switch around based on the points.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'll touch base on these point standings right before we take the green flag as well, if we have the time to. Absolutely. And we'll take a look at the schedule, of course, that we've gone through thus far. You can see all the races in white. Those are before the playoffs. And then last week at Kansas, the first race of the playoffs, Greg Holt was able to take the victory there. Kyle Lingerfeld was attempting some strategy to kind of extend it all the way there towards the end. Had to come in the pit with 6 laps remaining, giving the race lead back up to Greg Holt. Kazi tried a 2-tire strategy that couldn't out-muscle Holt. And just a lot of strategy. There's so much strategy play the last couple of races at Iowa and then into the playoffs at Kansas. I expect a little bit more of the same tonight here at Kentucky. And we look forward. The strategy is going to start to run out here. Texas, of course, another mile and a half. That's probably going to see a lot of green flag and probably a very strategic race. Then we get to the Roval, Talladega, and Bristol. Those are going to be absolutely insane. And you kind of have to control just whatever you can control, to attempt to control your own destiny, because all 3 of those tracks you're pretty much at the mercy of your competitors. And then of course the championship finale at Atlanta will be a nice little send-off for the season. But Devin, we look at the schedule, and we've mentioned it pretty much every week. We've discussed it, but the fact that this schedule gets increasingly more difficult as we go on through the rounds, I think adds a lot. And it can say a lot about whichever driver ends up on top through these 7 races.
Yeah, I think next week at Texas is kind of really the only bread and butter track that's left in the schedule. Kentucky runs really different. Like I said, it's an offset front tri-oval. But turn 3 and 4 and turns 1 and 2 very different from each other here. They run very different. You have to have different getting off the gas points, different braking points. And Texas kind of runs like a normal mile and a half. Really, just back off the turns, back them up, save the tires, and you'll be okay. But yeah, that's really the only bread and butter track left. After that, the Roval, Talladega, Bristol, Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, yeah, it's a traditional mile and a half in the old format, but it's the championship race, so anything but normal is going to be happening in Atlanta. We're going to see 4 drivers duking it out, throwing haymakers at each other the entire night that night. So it's going to be very interesting to see these guys send Atlanta off that way. But what I'm really looking forward to is the next round, which is going to be ending on the Charlotte Roval. We know that Joseph Causey's really big on the Charlotte Roval, and his competitor, Greg Holt, is not. So if Greg Holt runs into trouble at Texas, we might be seeing one of our playoff favorites kind of really struggling here in the middle of the playoffs, possibly not even making the next round if he does run into trouble at Texas. So he's really going to have to put a front foot forward at Texas to really keep himself in the battle, knowing that he, self-aware that he is not the best at road courses, and that includes the Charlotte Roval.
Absolutely, a great point there, Devin. Of course, with the the rounds only being 2 races, everything kind of lies on that first one. You got to kind of survive the first race to give yourself a chance in that second race, and per se, next week or next round being the Charlotte Roval, the second race. If you're not that, if you're not all that on road courses, you better put all your practice in for the mile and a half in Fort Worth, Texas, because that is going to be really your chance to move on in a very, very stacked field when it comes to these Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. And the journey we've gone through so far has led us so far to round 17 of 22 here in the Bluegrass State in virtual Sparta, Kentucky. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back on the far side with pre-race interviews and, of course, coverage of playoff race number 2 of the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Trucks race number 17 to 22 here at the virtual Kentucky Speedway. Don't you go anywhere.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Kentucky Speedway for the playoff race number 2 here, the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Trucks, round number 17 to 22 from the virtual Kentucky Speedway. Once again, the cutoff race for round number 1. 3 drivers, seasons, and tonight. But before we get into all of that, of course, we have to give a huge shout out to all of our partners here at PitStop TV, and those of course, Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. You provide the image that you want, and we will custom create a beautifully framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. And with Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info and use promo code PitStop TV at checkout and receive 10% off of your wall-mounted Sound Art device today. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. With locations in Auburn, Lewiston, Naples, and Saco, Maine, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in-Maine owner Ashley Bollier is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com, or you can call or text them at 207-358-8683. Whiplash Media specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing, camera packs, and more. The official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV. You can grab your iBroadcast cameras today at www.pitstoptv.com. And of course, a huge shout out to our friends at BAM Racing Videos. By a race fan for the racing community. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook there at BAM Racing Videos. Devin, we're here now into the waning minutes of practice here from the virtual Kentucky Speedway, and again, this is crunch time for certain drivers. There's one driver in particular who is a winner already this season, who needs a little help coming into tonight's race. Trying to see if there's the opportunity to speak with said driver. At the moment, there isn't, but we were going to see if we can get a word in there with Max Service. But we can look to another one of the drivers who is below the cut line right now. How about the 33 of James Gaylord, Devin? He's heading your way.
Yes, sir. We'll bring up James Gilliard in the number 33 truck. Ran into trouble last week, did James Gilliard. But James, do you have a copy? This is Devin in the booth.
Yeah, man, I got you. How you doing tonight?
Doing okay. Hopefully you're doing the same, man. You got some work to do tonight. How are you feeling about this track?
Man, I'm just going to go out and try to, finish the best I can. Shit like last week or, you can't really do nothing about that.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, stuff like that happens all the time, and it's just wrong place, wrong time is what it seemed like. But, there was a lot of speed coming out of that 33 machine lately. We've seen you qualify well, just wrong, like we said, wrong place, wrong time. But how are you thinking about tonight as far as the speed in that truck for qualifying and for the possible long term, like the longer runs?
Well, I think it's going to be all right. I don't feel like it's a spectacular truck to where it's going to go out there and blow them out the water, but, we'll have to see. I don't really, I haven't really run in a pack with these guys too much, just a couple of them. So we'll see how the race plays out. You never know. The people ahead of me could get caught up in some crap this week. You never know. We'll just have to race it out.
This is true. You never know what can happen. Just run your race. We see that you're sitting pretty good right now, sitting in 8th on the practice charts. Are you just really focusing on those long runs right now, or are you trying to focus on the short run speed for the truck at the current moment during practice?
Well, I was trying to get a long run in, but it seems like about every time I get right around to the 10 to 12 lap mark, somebody in front of me spins out and I end up hitting the wall and have to start all over. So I think I've only got maybe 12 laps has been like my max lap run. So we'll see. I did a couple practices of 50 lap runs earlier this week and everything felt okay.
Well, that's good to hear. And you mentioned 10 to 12 laps guys are spinning. Are you expecting this to possibly be one of those races where we just see, an abnormal thing for the Outlaws Sim Series where we just see quite a few cautions? Because normally we see maybe 1 or 2, but not quite as many as some other races this season. But are you kind of expecting possibly a caution fest for, on the Outlaws Sim Series side of the house, which probably be maybe 4 or more cautions? But are you expecting to see that tonight possibly?
Well, just like every week, if we can get a good break on the start here, we usually don't have many cautions, but if we ever get piled back up, that seems to be when it breaks out.
All right. Well, we thank you for your insight. We want to wish you great luck tonight. I always love seeing that Jack Daniels scheme. Is one of the best schemes that I think is on one of the trucks tonight. So I really appreciate trying to stick it out and putting your best foot forward, even though it doesn't work out all the time. But we're going to let you go ahead and take the floor and shout out whoever you have to shout out, and thank whoever you have to thank.
Well, as always, the series, Adam, y'all upstairs, man, y'all do a great job. My teammates, that's about it. And my wife for allowing me to do this.
All right, sounds great, man. And I echo the sentiment about the wife. She definitely plays a big part in sim racing, whether she is actually in the rig or not. So definitely understand that. We'll let you get back down to it and get ready for qualifying here in about 3 minutes.
All right, man. Y'all enjoy it. Appreciate it.
Right on. And that was driver of the number 33, James Gillard. The other driver I wanted to talk to was a driver on this side of the cutoff line. The the side that's in the cutoff line right now. Driver of the number 98, Farron Elam Jr., who's currently working his way on the pit exit right now. Farron, right now you're 6 points above the cutoff line, ahead of some stacked competition. But right now you're sitting second on the practice charts as well. How are you going to go about tonight, knowing that all that's in the back of your mind and knowing that your season continues based on holding that 6-point advantage over the cut line?
I mean, you don't hear not have any mistakes. Just run your own race and try to avoid mistakes that you can control. And at the end of the day, hope you're in a position to win it. Mile and a half's been my kryptonite this year with saving tires. So while that 6-point gap is in my mind, it's not on the forefront right now. Just focus on completing the race and doing my job for 140 laps. And if I do good enough, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely, and I like that that train of mind. Obviously, you can only control what you can control. Right now, actually, just got knocked down to third. The speed in the truck looks very, very nice. I imagine this is more of a short-run pace, but what is the long-run pace of this 98 truck? And can we expect a little something out of Farron Elam tonight?
Oh man, I can't spoil all the surprises, but it does feel good. The handling's good. If it stays the way it did in practice, I think we'll be okay. But I can't spoil everything. Got to leave a surprise for the field.
I guess you can't spoil everything, but you look to it. I guess kind of walk us back through the race you had at Kansas. It's a tough race, but a very strategic race with the way the fuel mileage worked out. How did you play that race, and are you satisfied with the way that turned out?
I mean, early on, we had a plan to kind of cut it into a few different segments there, and then I got in the wall. Story of my mile and a half career, just knocking the wall down. But there at the end, I mean, we had a pretty straightforward strategy. We was just going to stay out as long as we couldn't hope for a caution, and ultimately didn't get one. But I'm happy to a degree with how it turned out. It could have been a lot worse. We could have finished way farther down, but we had a really good speed in the truck, and really felt like it was a top 10, maybe top 5 truck, and was really hoping to get the playoffs started on the right foot and not be in the situation to come into Kentucky with not necessarily a must win, but needing a perfect race. But take every week as it comes and focus forward.
Right on. Well, fair and qualifying is about to be underway here. You've done a lot of work this season. You obviously made a lot of improvements. You won yourself your way into the playoffs at the Bristol Dirt. But I think even then, if you didn't win Bristol Dirt, you might have been able to point your way in. So looking very, very nice as opposed to last season, fair. And we'll give you the floor to shout out. You've got a shout out. Thank you. You got to thank for putting on the playoff performance you're putting on so far.
Yeah, man. Obviously, all of my Dark Horse teammates, Reaper Speed Labs for the great setups, Raging Cajuns Rapid Designs, who designs pretty much the whole teams, and then obviously just all the people who watch and support me. I don't have a ton. Burger Nation's a lot bigger, but I like my small circle. So. Yeah, thank y'all for what y'all do, and we're on the show tonight.
Right on. And that was driver of the number 98, Farron Elam Jr., driver who was, again, inside the cut line coming into tonight's race by 6 points. Looking to see if he can maintain that margin as he carries on into the event. And Devin, we're into qualifying now. 6 points. You look at drivers like Max Service, who's probably banking, that he might be able to outperform the 98 truck. And looking at those practice times, that's got to be a huge sound, maybe a sound of the alarm in the 81 camp and camps alike.
Yeah, for sure. He's really got to find the pace in that truck based on the practice times. We're not sure what he was working on, probably just tweaking the setup, which you can do in practice, get it dialed in for what you need. I saw that the 81 and the 77 were really working together. That Team Swifterados were nose to tail for almost the entire practice. They were just kind of following each other, the 81 following the 77 a bit, 77 following the 81. Maybe working on dirty air. That might come into effect tonight, especially if we get a long train. That can really upset the front end of these trucks and make them very tight off the turns. As we're watching the 19 here, Christian Converse, he was in the series earlier this season, took quite a few races off, but he's back tonight. We'll see what he can do. He was up at the top of the charts before practice ended, so I expect that 19 truck's going to be really fast tonight.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see him back on the entry list for tonight's event. He goes up obviously top of the charts. He's the first time to be set out on the racetrack. Let's catch up with some other drivers. How about playoff driver number 42, Tyler Markle, in that beautiful Crazy Lays Callaway Sorrento Pizza Chevrolet Silverado. Tyler Markle on his first lap. He clips the apron a little bit. He's going to go around. That's not going to help this first lap. Oh, and he's going to nose it into the inside barrier. And his first lap will be done. He'll be able to reset, grab a new car, and go at it again. He's got a couple of qualifying attempts here. But a huge dent possibly into confidence for Tyler Markle.
Yeah, just clip the apron, and really you're going to set that fastest lap on the second lap. So, I mean, that first lap, you can kind of give it away. I wouldn't push that hard this time. Really wait for those tires to warm up so you can really grip those inside of the turn in turns 1 and 2. You got to hold it wide open through 1 and 2. Pretty much got to hold it wide open in these trucks. 3 and 4, you're going to have a lift of just a bit. But for the most part, you want to be wide open through 1 and 2. That sets up this long back straightaway here at Kentucky. And then you can see we're on board with the 88. He gets pretty low there, and then it just slides up to the wall. You feel like you're going to hit it when you come off every single lap, but you just got to know that the grip's going to be there and that you're going to keep it off the truck, keep it wound up, keep the momentum up in these trucks the entire run. The one time you lose momentum, you're going to see your truck just going backwards really quickly.
The lap time for Joseph Cosio put him second quickest behind a 31 of Brad Bothwell. Bothwell, I believe, trying to go for his 7th pole on the season. Greg Holt will put that number 3 truck third quickest. So nobody looking like they're going to be able to take Greg Holt's slot at the top of the timing sheet just yet. We'll now catch up here with the 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld. And he had a beautiful truck coming into the playoffs last week, but I think there's been a little bit more added to that. Man, a beautiful looking number 65 truck.
Yeah, added just a little bit to it. I think it was matte black last week. Now we got kind of a silver chrome look to this truck. Really good looking truck there. We do know that the Raging Cajun designs all of those most of those dark horse racing trucks. They all look very great every single week. But speaking of Joseph Causi, I mean, only 1/1000th off of Brad Bothwell. That's so close at the top of the speed charts here. As we see Tyler Markle was able to set a lap. Maybe not his fastest lap. He should have one more left to go. We'll see what he brings around this next time. Here comes Lingerfeld to the line, and he's a couple seconds off. Probably warming up the tires. This should be the lap he's going for it on. Right up against the apron, all the way around turns 1 and 2. Lets it go off the wall, up to the wall. Down the back straightaway. Let's see how far he dives it into 3. Ooh, big dive into 3 there. You saw the rear end of the truck almost spin around on him.
Lingerfeld trying to get all he can out of that number 65 Reaper Speed Shop Chevrolet Silverado through down to the apron in the trial. Kyle Lingerfeld will put it 5th quickest on his qualifying attempt. Still 5 minutes remaining in the session. We now have a visit to the track from the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick. Greg Holt goes top of the charts.
Wow, that is a crazy good lap by Greg Holt, just showing he wants to keep that dominance up from last week at Kansas. Wants to take both the tracks that start with a K here in the first round. Wants to take both of them so he can set himself up, keep that momentum high, especially as we go into Texas, another 1.5 miles. Those seem to be Greg Holt's bread and butter there. So we'll see if he can continue that. It looks like it right now.
To the line, Seth Fitzpatrick in at number 2 Hooters Chevrolet Silverado puts it 10th quickest on lap number 2. But remember, these boys, they get 3 laps, so they're going to be going at it here once again. Jason Misery joins us here in the Outlaws Sim Series right now. He's put a time that's sat him 11th quickest. Landon Lacey in the 53 truck goes 4th quickest. Also out on the track are drivers who have set times, who are Benjamin Park in the 23, the 5 of Matthew Setzer. Out on the track, we have the 81, the 95, the 33, and the 77. But to the line with Seth Fitzpatrick, it will not improve, but we will now catch up with the other Seth in the field. Driver number 77 in the beautiful silver and black Burghardt Chevrolet Silverado. And Brad Bothwell goes 1 faster on Greg Holt. Make that actually 3/100ths faster than the 3 of Greg Holt. I didn't even know Bothwell had a lap in him still.
Yeah, he must have did that second lap or the first lap, doing his fast lap on that first lap. And then coming in, getting a warm-up time on another run, and then going out there and get it. And he just put it back to the top of the charts. That's crazy how these guys are setting this up. But yeah, 3 laps. I mean, you can kind of go for it on that first lap the first time, and then maybe the second time use it the first lap as warm-up. As we see the 77 go around.
Seth Berger's going to slide to the bottom of the racetrack. He's got a couple laps left in him to go ahead and reset and try it again. How about V81 of Max Service? And, well, that's a little bit of a different truck. I'm not used to a non-pink Max Service vehicle, but he's in a yellow and deep blue. Well, not even deep blue. I guess a powder blue Hellman's Silverado there. Max Service put the 6th quickest.
Yeah, really letting it hang out here on this next lap. Big hangout. Yeah, that's going to kill this lap there. Big loose off of turn number 2.
And he's giving the lap up. I mean, it was over as it was, but he's giving her up.
Yeah. I don't know if that was his 3rd and final lap. It might have been.
Yep, so it is lap 3. Somebody who's on lap 0, the 98 of Fair Elam Jr. comes to the line. We're going to watch his whole first-timed lap here in that number 98. Stutzman puts it 4th quickest.
And Brad Bothwell has performance.
Oh, Elam's going to go round!
Yeah, we saw the same thing with Tyler Markle there. That turned very loose off of turn 2. And these trucks, especially with the... with these setups for qualifying, they tend to be very loose is fast. So you just got to hang on to it best you can. Luckily, that's his first lap. So the second lap here, he should be able to set it up and get it really nice, put in a decent time. But yes, Performance Sim Sports come into play. The only guy who's keeping them at bay right now is Brad Bothwell. He's sitting first, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are Performance Sim Sports and Jeremiah Stutzman, the case Performance Sim Sports collaborators. So really interesting to see those guys all there in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, really trying to push that power of Performance Sim Sports here early.
Well, this is going to be the lap that does it for Fair and Elam. This 3rd lap, because the 2nd lap he was still trying to get back up to speed. Seth Berger has put it 7th quickest on his 3rd timed lap. We still have Converse out there. No, Converse has now parked it. Jeremiah Stutzman on his 3rd and final lap, trying to see if he can improve from 4th. Farron Elam Jr., the last driver on the racetrack that's going to set a valid qualifying time to the start-finish line. The 98 of Farron Elam Jr. will go 10th quickest.
Yeah, he gave it everything he could off of turn 4. Even got down, almost clipping the grass in the tri-oval there, just trying to get all kind of speed as he could. But for the, I believe, 7th time this season, we're going to award the Pratt Tile and Stone Pole Award to Brad Bothwell and the 31 Green Machine. It is amazing what that guy can do in qualifying trim. He does it again here at Kentucky and takes the Pratt Tile and Stone Pole Award, again his 7th of the season. Congratulations to Brad Bothwell, and thank you to Pratt Tile and Stone. Pratt Tile and Stone serving Central Vermont since 2005.
Well, here we go. Let's go through our starting lineup. Of course, the courtesy of Pratt Tile and Stone hosting the pole award has Brad Bothwell on the inside of row number 1, and he'll have the winningest driver in the Outlaws Sim Series thus far with 10 wins in his Outlaws Sim Series career, Greg Holt, starting to his outside. Row number 2, it'll be V88 of Joseph Causey, the 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman. Row number 3, the 53 of Landon Lacey, the 19 of Christian Converse, a couple of non-playoff drivers trying to play a little playoff spoiler there in row 3. Row number 4, it'll be a couple of drivers from last season's championship 4. Seth Berger in the 77, the 81 of Max Service, and back to row number 5, the 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld, the 98 of Farron Elam Jr.
Yeah, then row 6, we're going to see Tyler Markle in the 42, and then Devin Smith on his outside in the 95. Row 7 sees James Gilliard in the 13th position. Outside of him, Benjamin Park in the 14th position. Then we head back to row 8. Matthew Setzer will take that spot, and who is outside? Seth Fitzpatrick. We're seeing a lot of playoff drivers right here in the middle of this field. Should make for some interesting racing, especially row 9, Jason Miz and Joshua Gathright. And then in row 10, Andrew Schroeder and Andrew Pratt, a row of Andrews there to round out our top 20.
A slightly smaller field will mean we only got a couple more rows here. How about the 63 of Randall Barnett, the 25 of Eric Peck, and rounding out the back of the field, I believe it should be the 12 of Andrew St. Cor, the 67 of Doug Solms for a 24 truck grid, which means we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the standings once more. Actually, no, we won't, because we're going already on the formation lap. But tonight, the stages for tonight's race will be scored at the completion of lap 28 and the end of lap 63. We're in for a wild one at that. I'd imagine a lot of green flag racing, but a lot of strategy to be played. And let's see what kind of weather conditions these drivers have to endure as well. We look at the air temp, 85.5 degrees Fahrenheit, partially cloudy. The track temp, 87 degrees Fahrenheit, but the winds, they're ripping out there. 11 miles per hour out of the southwest, Stefan. How are these trucks going to react to that?
Yeah, especially out of the southwest, you could really start to see the trucks push off of turn 4 a lot more. It's blowing into turn 4 off of turn 2. So it could really upset the back end of that truck off of turn 2. If you're already slipping and sliding, it's going to be a lot harder to catch it. And then again, it could really push and slow down the truck off of turn 4. So it's just going to push up towards the turn 4 wall. But the lights are off here on the pace car. We're about to go green.
Absolutely. 12 rows of Outlaws Sim Series gunman trucks are approaching the front straightaway. A couple of stragglers catching up to the field. BDIRacing.com safety vehicle will now find its safety in the pit lane. A little bit of a jumbled up outside lane there may lead to a little bit of a disorganized restart up there. But Brad Bothwell will lead us to the green for tonight's 140 lap affair from the Bluegrass State. And around goes Brad Bothwell hard into the outside wall. Playoff implications.
Oh, the 71, the 65, and the 5 all involved in this wreck. Brad Bothwell got stuck in the wall.
Oh my goodness. And potentially terminal damage for the 65, or sorry, for the 5 of Matthew Setzer. Definitely for the 31 of Brad Bothwell. And a lot of playoff implications on this lap 1 accident. We're going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to take a replay and see what just happened to the field.
That was a big wreck up at the front of this pack heading into turn 3 and 4, where it's the widest, but it's also the most treacherous. We can see the 88 right up under the 31 as he gets a great run, and then they just make contact. And he just can't hold it. Oh, and he got Landon Lacey, and then you see the 31 stuck in the wall there.
Some major whiplash there. Wow.
Yeah, that might effectively end a lot of guys' nights prematurely here, including some playoff drivers. Matthew Setzer so close to that bubble line. He's really going to have to try and get that truck back out there.
Oh, Landon Lacey just got clipped.
Landon Lacey. And just nowhere to go for some of these guys. Tyler Markle drove, oh my gosh, so close. Jason Miz so close. Man, a lot of guys escaping that, but oh my gosh. Jeremiah Stutzman, Matthew Setzer, all both involved here. That's really going to hurt their chances. I think Stutzman might be okay, but this 5 truck really going to hurt. And James Gilliard was right in front of him.
Oh no, that's heavy left side damage for Stutzman.
And just nowhere for him to go, for Setzer to go, and Stutzman as well. I mean, he just kind of got caught up in it. And man, that 33 truck, he's been involved in a lot of early incidents lately. I mean, he's talked about it in the pre-race, just wrong place, wrong time. But this time he drove right through it, makes it through. He's already up to 6, so he's doing what he needs to do early. He made it through the first wreck. But my gosh, what a drive there. This is going to be an interesting view from his camera here.
We'll see how Gilliard makes it through. This happens all around him. Trucks wrecking to his left, wrecking behind and to the right, slicing and dicing through the wrecked vehicles, and Gilliard will make it through.
Yeah, and what this does, I mean, it jumbles up some fuel strategy here. Joseph Causey dove into the pits. That's going to hand the lead to Seth Berger. Greg Holt also stayed out. Quite a few other drivers stayed out, but there are a lot of drivers who dove into the pits. Devin Smith, Andrew Pratt, Benjamin Park, Randall Barnett, Doug Soames, Tyler Markle, Joseph Causey, all diving into the pits. Andrew St. Cure as well. But yeah, that's a lot of drivers who are playing some pit strategy here early due to this lap 1 incident. So pit strategy might already be in play, Emerson.
Well, let's remember what happened last week and what happened at Iowa. More importantly, Iowa, Jeremiah Stutzman pitted on a lap 4 caution, and he won that race on fuel strategy. So I think a lot of these drivers are understanding that the past 2 weeks we've had early cautions. People have come in and topped off on that early caution, and it's given them opportunity to, maybe save fuel, make saving fuel more viable options for some of these drivers.
Yeah, speaking of Joseph Causey, just came back down pit road for a second time just to top off with just that little bit more gas. Pretty much from him on back, he's sitting in 17th position from 17th on or 18th on back, which is Jeremiah Stutzman, Brad Bothwell, and Kyle Lingerfeld. Oh, we forgot to say Kyle Lingerfeld was involved in that wreck. But from those guys on back, I mean, they're all a lap down, getting repairs. Stutzman's coming out now, but all those other drivers are still on pit road trying to get damage repaired. Bothwell looks to possibly be done for the night. That is going to be that was terminal engine damage for the 31, but 42 in the 88 back down pit road.
Oh, fair, and Elam's got damage as well. Oh my goodness. Real quick, while we're on this one, the green lap, want to take a quick look at these point standings. I mean, this is coming into tonight's race. These are not live. These are not live point standings, I do have to say. But you look at drivers, the 4 drivers inside the cut line right now involved in that accident, with Theron Elam Jr. on the cut line by 6 points. Max Service is having a great day right now in 4th. Matthew Setzer, 15 above. Kyle Lingerfeld, 19 above. Bothwell has a little bit of a cushion. He's gonna need a little bit of luck, bad luck from the other drivers, but he should be okay. Bothwell with that 28-point margin, he has a little bit of a buffer. Plus, he's not the only one with damage, so it'll be intriguing to see how this all plays out throughout the race. We're of course going to be looking at all the playoff scenarios throughout tonight's event, but there's going to be a lot of math, a lot of overheated calculators by tonight's conclusion. But the iRacing.com safety vehicle, we'll try this again, boys. It's going to find its safety in the pit lane. We're going to try this now for 135 laps remaining in this race. The green flag is back in the air, and we are racing from the Bluegrass State.
Well, they make it around for turn for turn 1 there, Emerson. So 1 lap completed. That's some good news so far.
Yeah, Seth Berger did complete first lap with the field in tow. You see drivers, a lot of those drivers who were in that accident are several laps down. Kyle Lingerfeld has rejoined the racing surface 2 laps down. Jeremiah Stutzman 1 lap down. Still on the pit lane, but not out of the event yet. Brad Bothwell, Theron Elam, Matthew Setzer still getting damage repairs. Now Kyle Lingerfeld is now coming on pit entry here. Intriguing.
Yeah, I think he's seeing that some of these guys do have some terminal damage and possibly won't be able to get out there. He doesn't want to be too much of a hazard, just trying to pick up the spots he knows he can pick up. But Yeah, just not knowing that, or sorry, just trying to pick up the positions that he can with the guys being lapped down. Maybe they can't catch him by the end of this race with the damage they have to repair.
How about this? Christian Converse returning to action here in the Outlaws Sim Series, maybe playing a little playoff spoiler, fighting with a driver who comes into tonight's race 6 points out of the cut line. Max needs to be careful. He's in a great spot right now, and considering with the incident that involved one of the drivers that he's fighting for that cut line, he needs to keep himself out of trouble. Even if that means losing a couple spots here, his competition is now on the pit lane several laps down. He's got to be careful here. We know how aggressive the Swift and the Performance Sim Sport boys got at the beginning of this season. And I think Max has got to be thinking big picture here if he gets really tight battling here with Converse, who's now under attack from Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick, one of the guys we highlighted last week, saying that he had a great chance to make the next round from being on the outside looking in at that track. Had a great run at Kansas, made his way into the cut line as we speak, and just following that up with another great run here. Max Service again, having not the best week last week, but really showing the speed in that truck tonight. Greg Holt does take the lead from Seth Berger, however. So we do have Performance Sim Sports 1 and 4 split by the Swift Racing guys.
Yep. So again, intriguing battle as Greg Holt did take the lead. Didn't even actually realize he got around Seth Berger, but he did complete the pass. Berger keeping it nice and tidy up here, though, not letting Greg Holt get away and trying to see if he can keep this battle up for the long term. Remember, last time these two drivers were really getting into it. I mean, really having a battle at the front of the field, I believe, was at New Hampshire, and then Seth Berger was unfortunately contacted by a lapped vehicle, and that ended the great show we were going to get there at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and these two drivers have a history with each other. They're both very, very fast drivers, are normally up at the front of the field every week battling with each other. And they do have a couple of run-ins with each other. But, so far respect has been shown by both drivers, just knowing that it is early. We're only 13 laps in, by the way. And knowing it's early, Seth lets him go to take the lead there. They put up a little bit of a fight, but ultimately Seth gave way. And is just trying to run behind Greg and keep as close to him as he can for this first run, just to see, okay, let me see what adjustments I need to make on my truck so I can stay with this number 3 truck when we get later in this run, especially since it's going to be turning to nighttime. I think this is the first race all season where we've had a transition from day to night.
And I'm getting a little bit of an update here. Kyle Lingerfeld, of course, went out. He got as many spots as he can. Kyle Lingerfeld is now back in the pit lane. He's still sitting in the pit box. He still has another 4 minutes remaining of repair time. And so Lingerfeld is just out there getting as much as he can. Or I guess getting all the damage he can, is maybe hoping for bad luck of other drivers. You saw Jeremiah Stutzman, one of those drivers involved in that accident, who just went a second lap down in this race. Stutzman is out there with a pretty hurt, beat up truck there, just trying to make the laps.
Yeah, he just wants to keep himself at the front of that lap down crew, pick up as many positions just in case there are any more incidents, and some other drivers may find their way out.
But this gets tied into these corner entries.
Yeah, and these guys are coming up on him. I mean, he's staying high, trying to stay out of the way of these guys, but it does get pretty narrow in turns 1 and 2. So turns 3 and 4 are a lot better to make these passes, but that was interesting for a second.
And for me personally, as somebody who races in leagues and all that, I'm a strong advocate for running as much of the race as you can. When it gets to a point where you're being a hazard, that's a different thing. But this is different. He is a playoff driver that has to fight for every point. This is, I think, a little bit more understandable. If this wasn't a playoff driver, this would be one of those times I'd be yelling at this driver to get off the track. But this driver needs every point he can get.
Yeah, and I think he knows that, if this would have been maybe any other week, he probably would have considered it, okay, yeah, I can't get any more. I'm not doing anybody any favors out here, so I'll go ahead and park it. But tonight is all about points, keeping yourself in the cutoff line. It is a cutoff race, so get as much as you can. Just don't impact the race for the win is, probably the mindset here. So just trying to get what he can. Don't ruin anybody's race, but get as much out of it as I can.
And I'm not calling out Jeremiah specifically because I've known Jeremiah for a few years now, and he's a 5-time champion of the Outlaws series of leagues back on the console side, and one of the admins here at the Outlaws Sim Series. So I work pretty closely with him a lot of times. So I'm not calling out Jeremiah specifically, but I just know in my times of racing, especially recently, when there's a vehicle that far off the pace, I'm usually yelling at them to just get off the track. But again, as a playoff driver, they have every right to get as every single point they can.
Yeah, we have a 3-wide battle here almost.
This is gnarly.
Back in the pack, I believe this is almost for 10th. So I mean, the cutoff or the stage is coming up quickly here.
It's actually for 9th, Andrew Schroeder in that New York Jets machine. And how about the New York Jets? Talk just a little bit of football. But they've had a rough little season. Unfortunately, Zach Wilson got hurt. And then Mike White, out of nowhere, their backup quarterback, who was drafted in the 3rd round a couple of seasons ago, comes out and lights up the show against the team that was at the top seed, the AFC, coming into last week. I mean, what a phenomenal week if you're a Jets fan after a very abysmal season. I just wanted to point out a little bit of football there with the New York Jets.
Yeah, and another little fun fact. I mean, that the game worn jersey by Mike White and the game football, the game used football for that game were retired to the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I saw that.
Because that was the big contact. 42 and the 12. 42 is a playoff driver.
Tyler Markle way up the track.
Yeah, the 12 didn't give him any space getting into the turn. Ran Markle up the track. I'm not sure the 42 is happy about that one. But, oh, man, yeah, that just kind of interrupted our train of thought there. But he lets him go now. The 12 just lets the 42 go. So I think the 42 may have had some words with him on the radio. We'll have to see. But, yeah, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I mean, that's kind of crazy for a guy in his very first NFL start. He had the highest completion percentage highest completion percentage with over 30 passes thrown. He had completed 37 of 40 passes for over 400 yards, and that had never been done before by a guy making his first start. So they went ahead and put that jersey in the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, if you're a Jets fan, you haven't had a lot to root for in recent memory, but this is definitely something to really be proud of if you are a New York Jets fan. Oh yeah, good week for Jets fans. Again, out of a pretty rough season, a good week after beating the Cincinnati Bengals and Mike White being the only other quarterback in their NFL debut to throw for over 400 yards other than Cam Newton. Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but we'll get back here to the race. Tyler Markle has recovered just a bit. Very nicely. He's gotten through all three of them. He's gotten through those guys, now trying to work his way up. We do know that he is kind of doing this new strategy where he does do those short pits early in the race if there's a caution. He comes down multiple times and keeps topping off the fuel right before they go green to run as long as he can, possibly stretching the fuel cycle, possibly maybe taking a pit stop off the board. That's how he got such a great finish at Iowa, how he won his race this season at Dover, and he's really stuck to that strategy, and it seems to be paying off more times than not for the 42 truck, and he's making good work of these guys here, saving his tires, just kind of riding around. A guy who has not recovered from his EOL penalty. Joseph Causey was involved in the wreck. One of the first two drivers involved, him and the 31, not able to get back on track yet, but Joseph Causey has not recovered from restarting in the, I believe he restarted 17th. He's only made one position up to 16th. And there was some damage on the right front of that truck. He did get all of the damage repaired, but it just doesn't look like he is really finding the speed as of right now. It doesn't look cosmetically like anything's wrong. The 95 has found the wall on the right side of that truck. So he's running into some trouble now as he tries to make the pass on the 27 right in front of
something
Tyler
amiss
Markle.
for the 19, a Christian Converse.
Oh, wow. He's falling way off the pace. We saw him battling for third for a second there.
This might take a
Oh,
moment.
big damage. Big damage on the right side of the truck.
He must have plowed the wall, and that truck is not feeling right at all.
He was really pushing the exit of turn 4, trying to get all he could down that front straightaway. I wonder if he maybe flirted with it a little too much.
I want to see if we can find it here. We might be a little too late on it. We're going to try one more time to try to find it. And, yeah, right here, he still has a relatively clean truck. But, oh, we just missed it. So
I was off turn 2.
Right. We'll get it queued up one more time because we just found it. So we're going to get this right here for you. And here we go. We got it queued up. This is the 19 of Christian Converse battling with the 23 of Benjamin Park. This was back at the 5th or 6th position when this was happening. Converse right behind the 23 of Ben Park after battling max service early. So maybe some tires a problem for Converse, and it just plows the wall for turn 2.
Well, I was wondering if dirty air was an issue in these trucks, and right there just kind of proves that the truck did not turn at all. Just went straight up to the outside wall off of 2. So that's pretty much ruined the night of the 19. Unfortunately for a guy making his comeback to the series, started a couple races earlier in the beginning of the season, but was not able to make some of the races in the middle. Most of the races in the middle, actually. So was eliminated for playoff competition, but just coming back to get some laps and run with these guys again. And unfortunately runs into an issue early. Kind of what we've seen, what happened with Joshua Bayet. I mean, he tries to run with these guys as much as he can, but he just can't seem to get a run in it. I mean, he gets, he's completed the last 2 races he's been in, completed 2 laps.
Tyler Markle overtaking Joshua Gaffray, and what went on just a couple laps ago while we were watching that replay was the completion of stage number 1. And again, another thing to be watching for is drivers getting playoff points at that. I want to shout out James Gilliard, because James Gilliard came into today's race 22 points behind the cut line, and he's currently doing everything right now. Well, let's go to the stage 1 results that just occurred at the completion lap 28. Greg Holt, of course, was the race leader and the stage 1 winner over Seth Berger, then Seth Fitzpatrick, Max Service, then James Gilliard, the top 5. Then non-playoff driver in Benjamin Park, if Andrew Pratt and Andrew Schroeder as well, also non-playoff drivers. Actually, the top 5 are playoff drivers. The next 5 were non-playoff drivers in Benjamin Park, Andrew Pratt, Andrew Schroeder, Devin Smith, and James Gaffright. So intriguing stage 1 results there. Stage 2 scored at the completion of lap 63.
Yeah, so we're about 30 laps from that point here. Tyler Markle did break into the top 10. He is in the top 10 now in 10th place, but he did not get there before the stage was over. Since then, however, he has completed that pass and made his way into the top 10, looking to kind of close up to the 95 now, keep working his way forward. He is the first car on the freshest tires in the field. These guys running around lap, 34? And Tyler Markle just hit lap 30 on his tires, so about 4 laps fresher tires on that 42 truck. But not really many green flag laps on the tires in front of him. But still, 1 heat cycle, I mean, that's enough to maybe take maybe a 10th or so on the long runs if you're careful managing them. But, yeah, really starting to work his way forward is that 42 truck.
I think more or less you want, that advantage for the fuel numbers more than anything. I don't think anybody is too worried about running 2/3 of a lap at green flag conditions on their tires. But absolutely that fuel number, that is going to get a lot of drivers, as we saw at Iowa and Kansas. Kansas, again, the fuel loads are very close to making on 2 stops, but you weren't really able to. And if you pitted at that first caution, you might have been able to. And there's a whole bunch of what ifs. So I think a lot of drivers who, like you said, there's a whole ton who came in on that first pit stop or that first caution. A lot of drivers who were trying to give themselves that opportunity should it arise. But how about this? This is a couple non-playoff drivers here, but Benjamin Park and Andrew Pratt having some good runs here. Andrew Pratt got his first podium of the season last week after being a playoff driver last season and winning at New Hampshire last season. Andrew Pratt not having the season he'd like, But in that number 75 machine, he has really strung it together the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and we talked to him in the post-race interview, and he just said he's trying to gather momentum for next season, really put himself in a good mindset as we enter next season and the start of next season, so he can be a playoff driver next season. And he's really pushing his foot forward. I mean, sitting in 7th right now, worked his way up. I believe he started in 19th and already up to 7th and maintaining a good gap back to Andrew Schroeder, who started alongside of him in 20th. Or actually, he started 20th, and then Andrew Schroeder started in 19th. Excuse me, but man, yeah, he has really found his way up, and now he's trying to put the pass on Benjamin Park here for the 6th place position. Park gives that position up, slides up the track, lets the 75 go through as they approach. I believe that is James Gilliard just in front of him, so he's not done yet. He wants to break into the top 5. Really good run out of that 75 truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Pratt may be going back-to-back top 5s here. At least that's what it's looking like early, very early on in this race, because we still have 102 laps to go. So there's nothing set in stone by any means, but looking very, very nice. And you look at things, and we actually have an overtake going on deeper in the pack here. This is Andrew St. Cyr on Doug Solms. And I've been impressed with Doug Solms' performance thus far. He's kind of up here mixing it up as well, just outside the top 10. But Doug Solms there in the 13th position. I wanted to mention there is Jason Miz. Oh my goodness, that right side is destroyed.
Yeah, he was struggling with the truck earlier, and he's destroyed both sides of that truck. The left side and the right side. Oh, the left side of that truck is really pushed in.
I'll try to see if there's something we could see here on the 24 Jason Miz. And this may be a while here. Here he is coming down the pit lane. I'm going to try to key that out once more. I think we're going to just be a little late here on trying to get this all together. But we'll try it once more. See if we can find it here once more on the 24 Jason Miz.
Yeah, a lot of damage. It looks like he made contact with the wall head on
Yeah.
at some point. So both sides of the truck are really messed up. I'm assuming it was off a turn, either getting loose or getting tight. Just clipped the wall and then went right down to the inside wall. More than likely, it just plowed into it. That's what it seems like. All right. Yeah, he's got big damage there already.
While that's going on, Andrew Pratt passes Gilliard for 5th. Gilliard now under attack from Benjamin Park for 6th. James Gilliard in a little bit of trouble here. He needs every point he can get.
Yeah, he does, but to his benefit, some of the guys that he was fighting for position, Farron Elam Jr., not really Brad Bothwell, but Farron Elam Jr. specifically, and Matthew Setzer, both were involved in that lap 1 incident. So, I mean, if he just keeps the wheels under it at this point, keeps himself probably inside the top 10, I think he might be okay. Yeah, with the stage points there.
And you have to, that's wild to think because of the 22-point deficit coming into tonight's race and only 24 trucks in the field. Oh, sideways is the 33 James Gilliard. He's got to keep the truck under him, of course, before you can even think about the next round.
Yeah, he's really fighting the wheels in that truck right now. We're getting really late in this run. 44 laps completed now. So, I mean, it's starting to go away from him. That maybe that end of that truck, he said he really couldn't get a really long run in the truck during practice. So, with the transition here tonight, normally it tightens up, but it looks like that truck has just gotten really loose on him in the late run here. And he's really fighting the wheel of it off of each and every turn. So I don't know if he's going to maybe try to early pit here, get some adjustments done on that truck.
He might be here. He comes. Here he comes.
Here he comes. Yep. So early pitting here. Going to try and maybe make some adjustments here as we make the transition to almost fully nighttime here in Kentucky. But yeah, that truck definitely went away from him here on the long run. Short run, though, that truck looked pretty outstanding. So just got to make some adjustments, make that truck better on the long run, and he'll be okay.
So what this means is he's got to make the next 2 stints a little bit longer. With 95 laps left in the race, he's got to go about 92, 93 laps the rest of this race. Another important thing to note, playoff-wise, is Matthew Setzer right now is in the 18th position. He just picked up a spot from the 19 of Christian Converse. A very important thing to note because Matthew Setzer had a 15-point advantage coming into today's race. Now, he did not get stage points, while Max Service and James Gilliard did get stage points. So, again, huge things to consider with Max Service and James Gilliard, two drivers outside the cut line, gaining stage points. By the way, I think Joshua Land Fox did not show up for tonight's race and will not make the next round of the playoffs. Joshua Land Fox.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention that. He did not show up for the race tonight, so he is going to be effectively out of the playoffs. Another driver that might be effectively out, his truck's still on pit road getting damage repaired, I believe, is Farron Elam Jr. Yep, he is still on pit road getting damage repaired. He hasn't called it tonight, has not left the session, but a lot of damage on that 98 truck, especially the rear of that truck, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get out there. Brad Bothwell he had pretty much terminal damage. I don't think he's going to be able to get out there either. So
I think
effectively those two. Yeah, effectively I think both of their nights are done. But that is the guy who's got to be on the worry plate is Farron Elam Jr. He was sitting on the cutoff line, 6 points clear. The first driver back to him was Matt Service. And I think Service got him right there with the stage points. So I don't think that Farron Elam will be making the next round either.
Right, unless something massive happens to Service and Elam's able to get back on the track. And also Matthew Setzer is the other driver in the danger zone. Why I mentioned him getting around Christian Converse was because of Gilliard and the stage points. It's going to be tight between Setzer and Gilliard, I think, is what the cut line's going to come down to. And who's going to be in, who's going to be out. It's going to be dependent here. So I don't know if anybody can make it to lap 63. But if they can, they're going to be stretching it long. And it's going to be intriguing to see how the playoff point, or I'm sorry, the stage points work out at that moment. But right now we're on lap 50 of 140. Greg Holt is still out there. I'd imagine Greg Holt's going to come sometime soon. Because we know at Kansas they were only able to go about 46 laps on fuel. Here there's a little bit of off throttle time, so you could maybe count 48, 49, maybe 50 laps on fuel. And that's about it. I don't know if anybody's making 60.
Yeah, they just hit 50 laps, excluding...
Here comes Gathright.
Yeah, here comes Gathright. So they make just hit 50 laps. Guys are still staying out there for 51. The caution, again, that caution could have helped. But I don't know how much help they would have gotten. But the 42 truck, again, he's the first driver who pitted the latest. So he can stay out a lot longer than the guys in front of him. Gathright misses its pit box a little bit, had to back up there. But that's going to cost him on pit road. But he was outside the top 10. Here comes the 12 of Andrew St. Cure. I'm trying to look for our leaders. Three car is getting into turn 3 now, so we'll see if he makes his pit stop this time. Andrew Schroeder's calling out pitting this time. Devin Smith.
Greg Holt is coming in.
Yep, Devin Smith calling pitting this time as well. Andrew Schroeder calling pitting this time. 77 and the 2 and the 81 stay out. The 75 stay out and the 23 stay out.
So intriguing to also think is Max Service, if he stays out long enough to get a lap led, that could be huge in the favor of Max Service's point deficit coming into tonight's race. And again, stage 1 points will be awarded at the completion, or stage 2 points will be awarded at the completion of lap 63, which is in 11 laps from now. So there's still a lot of math to play out here in tonight's Elimination Wednesday. Calculators overheating throughout the evening, and Max Service is now on the pit lane with Seth Berger and Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that's right. So that hands the lead to the 75. He gets the lead a lap here. The 23 stayed out with him. These are guys who pitted, I believe. Yes, these are guys who pitted a little bit later, so they're going to have to come in very shortly. James Gilliard finding his way around the 42 truck. I'm watching him. He was the first truck to pit. So we'll see where the 32 truck or 33 truck is in relation to that 3 truck who came in. I
Devin
think he's
Smith was
still
trying to
behind
pit
him.
there. He set to split the middle between 2 trucks who were staying out, the 95 of Devin Smith.
Ooh, that was a close call there. I think the 42 truck was right there with him, but there goes the 77. The 3 truck pitted in front of him, and here comes the 33 behind him. Is he going to get out in front of the 33? I don't think he's going to be up to speed in time. Maybe he is. It's going to be close here.
Look at that. But you also got to think Gilliard is going to just gain spots out right here. Can he hold them until lap 63? That was the play here from James Gilliard, was to get those stage orders. He's going to go 3 wide with Setzer here. Benjamin Park has hit the pit lane, and that, all importantly, gives a lap lead to playoff driver Tyler Markle.
Yep, he was the one who played the pit strategy to stay out the longest and try and get those lap lead. I'm hearing over the radio, he is pitting this time, so he will be coming in. But James Gilliard didn't get to the lead pitting early. The 3 truck stayed in front of him. Ooh, almost hit the wall there. But yeah, I'm watching that 33 truck. He is starting to slide back. He's back to 4th, but that's not too bad now that the 42 truck has pitted.
You know, if Gilliard can maybe hold station over Max Service, that might be a win until lap 63. It'll be intriguing. I don't know if he will, but he's got about 4 seconds over Max Service right now, James Gilliard.
Yeah, even if he holds on to that 5th spot, there's still going to be big points for him trying to get in front of Matthew Setzer, who's kind of stuck back in the not really gaining any points here with the stages.
How about Seth Fitzpatrick going fastest right now? I believe that. I have to double check. I don't think that's a point. Actually, yes, fastest lap is a point. So you also have to counter that. You know, consider that point. But right, Max Service and James Gilliard got points in stage 1 that Elam and Setzer did not. So this is looking very nice if you're James Gilliard or a Max Service fans, or if you're under camp. On the other hand, if you're a Farron Elam or Matthew Setzer fan, you are shaking in your boots right now, hoping the math works out in your favor.
Well, I think for Farron Elam at this point, I think his night is done. I think he is going to end up being out of the playoffs. He was only 6 points clear. I think that was covered by Max Service on the first stage ending, where he finished, I believe, in 4th place in that stage. So I think he is effectively done, is Farron Elam. He will not be moving on to the next round just because of those stage points. And that just factors, you know, these stages, they offer so much points to make it to the next round. So those are really great points to get. I mean, of course, you want to be there at the end, but, you know, in this case, it was the stage that kind of did Farron Elam's playoff chances in. With Max Service getting those points. Now the big battle again, like we've been saying, is shifted towards James Gilliard in the 33 and Matthew Setzer in the 5. Matthew Setzer, big damage on the lap 1. He's out there just trying to make laps, but I don't know if he is going to get the positions necessary with the stage points necessary to stay in the playoffs, but we'll have to see. It's really tight right now.
How about this between Andrew Schroeder and Randall Barnett? This is for 8th, non-playoff drivers. Tight battle here at, you know, right there with the top 10, and Gaff right there as well. Tyler Markle is a playoff driver outside the top 10 right now, a second back, trying to see if he can maybe snag some stage points out of these drivers.
Yeah, and he only has a couple of laps to do it, but he's on much fresher tires than these guys in front of him. He should be gaining very quickly on them to try and get into the top 10. All he needs to do is get around the 63 of Barnett, who was just up in front of the 2 in front of him. So he's got to make 3 passes here in just 2 laps.
And Max Service has just passed James Gilliard for position. And we're thinking here, and it more or less, the math might work out where Max overtakes Setzer. It's now, does the math work out where Gilliard overtakes Elam? Because that's about 28 points that Elam had over the cut line. Elam had over Gilliard. So that's where the math is really working out here, while Setzer had 21 points over Service. So a lot of math here, but Gilliard getting passed by Service that is a point not in Gilliard's favor. We are on the final lap now of stage number 2, but Tyler Markle 3 wide trying to get past these two. He's coming to the final lap of stage number 2, so he still has a lap to make this overtake complete, but Tyler Markle right now in the 8th position, trying to battle for that 8th position with Joshua Gaffright.
Yeah, he caught these guys in a hurry. Those new tires really helping him out. He is pushing them as far as he can to get as many points as he can, having missed points in stage 1, but it looks like he has secured that 8th position as of now. Car on the outside moves out of the way. I believe that's Stutzman just kind of moving out of these guys' way.
Oh, to the line here. This is for 10th. Right here to the line. Is it gonna be? Devin Smith just edges out Andrew Schroeder by 7/1000ths of a second at the start-finish line.
Wow, just edges him out for the end of the stage there. Big stage points again for Max Service, James Gilliard. Tyler Markle has kind of secured his place in, I believe, at this point. Almost
Schroeder!
By the 95 and the 47. 95 is sideways.
Oh, in contact! Barnett runs over the 47 of Andrew Schroeder after Schroeder made contact with Devin Smith. And is this going to bring out a full course yellow? Schroeder just down on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Schroeder's calling out over the radio now. I don't think a caution has been given. He has got the truck moving down on pit road off of the racing surface. Some front end damage on a couple of trucks there because of that incident, I believe. But man, that Jets truck not having the luck the Jets had this past week. Just like kind of looking like the beginning of the season. Jets,
a typical Jets sporting event here. I'm sorry, we'll leave the Jets alone. But this is what happened. We caught a lot of it live, but this is Andrew Schroeder working to the inside of Devin Smith. Kind of misses the entry in the 3.
Slide. Yeah, big slide by the 47. Just got into the 95. Oh. 47, I think, was loose right there. Just came down in front of the 63. Just nothing either one of those drivers could do. I think the 47 just trying to catch his truck. And unfortunately, the 63 was right there.
My goodness. It looks like we will stay green. Race control did not grant that as an as a caution. More than anything, I think it was just an accident that got cleared off the racing surface for the most part, and they continued on. But through all that, we did get a stage end. The lap prior, Randall Barnett is now in the pit lane, I'd imagine with some heavy front end damage. But the stage 1 results, we'll read them off. We got a lot of them there, but Greg Holt, Seth Berger, more than likely locking themselves in with the stage points they've gotten today. Seth Fitzpatrick in 3rd, Max Service in 4th. Should be okay. If he continues at the rate he's going, Max Service should be okay. James Gilliard is the question mark. Is he going to get enough points over his playoff bubble competition? It's going to be intriguing to see how that math works out. But Gilliard got 5th in stage number 2. Andrew Pratt 6th, Benjamin Park 7th, Tyler Markle got 8th over Joshua Gaffright 9th, and Devin Smith 10th. Is the stage top 10 there for stage number 2.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the track right now. So that incident that we just witnessed with the 47 and the 63 and the 95, those guys come down to get damage repaired. I'm watching them because those could give all important finishing positions to the 5 truck of Matthew Setzer if we're not careful. Schroeder is already 6 laps down. Matthew Setzer still on the track, 15 laps down. Randall Barnett is still in the pits. He is 5 laps down. So that could be 2 positions. That could move Matthew Setzer up to possibly 16th at this point. I mean, that's two positions that may influence this.
Right.
You know, this race here. Who are we looking at right here?
This is Setzer right here.
Yep, that's Setzer who just came down to get his pit stop done.
Yeah, to imagine
for
fuel
fuel.
tires.
So that was fuel and tires. Pit stop for the 5. He's back on track. I'm watching the 47. On pit road. I am watching the 63 on pit road. Both of them still on pit road getting damage repaired. Trying to see if they're going to get back on this track. I don't know if they are. Being that they're non-playoff drivers, we'll have to keep touch there. But those are all important positions for that 5 truck. And if you're a Matthew Setzer fan, I mean, I'm not sure what the math is at this point in time. I'm going to try and do it as we're live. So you'll have to give me a minute. But I don't know what that would do for that 5 truck camp. But yeah, they're still going laps down. They're still in the pit road, are the 63 and the 47.
47
so
is out.
time.
Andrew Schroeder. The Schroeder's called it a night.
Schroeder has called it a night. He is out. That is one place that could go over to Matthew Setzer. Randall Barnett, I don't know. He's still on pit road, so we'll have to see there. But he is already 6 laps down, so that could possibly be another spot. He's going 8 laps down.
8 down, right?
8 down now. So yeah, they're just ticking the laps away. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the math here, Emerson, and see what we can do.
Right, it's gonna be something. It's really between Gilliard and where does he fare out over Elam, and Max, where does he fare out over Setzer, and vice versa. There's gonna maybe be potentially somewhere a jumble of 4 drivers.
Oh yeah, for definite sure. So it's going to be so tight. I think Farron Elam, I don't know if he is going to be able to get back in this race at all. I'm sure he is trying. I'm trying to look and see if he got back on the track. I don't think he did. I think he called it a night. No, he is on the track. Farron Elam is back on the track.
He is 58 laps down, but you know what? He is out there if he can get the spot from Christian Converse, the spot from Andrew Schroeder, and Randall Barnett has rejoined the race. Randall Barnett is not going to give up a spot that easily to Matthew Setzer.
Yeah, and his truck isn't too badly damaged. I mean, there's a little bit of front end damage. There's no rear end damage, so there's a lot of damage on those other trucks who were involved in that lap 1 incident. So he should be able to stay in front of them. So for the guys in the 5 camp, that kind of hurts that one. For the guys in the 98 camp, that might hurt him as well. Again, I'm trying to do the math live here. It is so close.
It's gonna be
right
tight.
Now. It is so close right now.
So again, and we're looking at it. Barnett again rejoining the race is huge. A huge nod in the direction of Gilliard and Service. Most likely Service is in at the pace he's at. Service just has to not give himself any costly race mistakes. He doesn't even have to push anymore, Max Service. He just needs to place where he is, essentially. So the math is coming down to Gilliard, Setzer, and Elam. And we are just over halfway here at the Kentucky Speedway. Kyle Lingerfeld is rejoining the racing surface behind Matthew Setzer. He's 19 laps down. Actually, I believe he's been out there a little bit, but I just noticed Lingerfeld coming out onto the track. I think he's coming off from a fuel and tire stop.
Lingerfeld's coming off a fuel and tire stop, so he will get a spot.
And check this out. Bothwell is out there. Look at that thing.
Yeah, Bothwell's out there. He's the most lapped down, I believe. So Farron Elam cannot gain that one. Matthew Setzer cannot gain that one. Lingerfeld is behind the 5 truck, so that's not going to help out. Was it Max Service or Gilliard in any way? What I'm trying to look at is if Christian Converse and the
Andrew Schroeder.
47 Andrew Schroeder, if they do not finish this race, which both of them was it Christian Converse still on pit road, but Andrew Schroeder has left. So if he is called it a night, and if Christian Converse cannot get back on the track, and those 2 positions go over to Farron Elam, one more position here of the next lap around, Greg Holt will put the 47 another lap down. That will give 17th to Matthew Setzer. So if those 2 positions hang on, what is that going to do? It's so tight. I'm adding it up right now. It is very, very tight up at the front.
Another storyline for maybe news either way for James Gilliard, Matthew Setzer, Farron Elam Jr. The 24 of Jason Miz has just pulled it into the garage area. That's another point nodded in the direction of Setzer and Elam.
Yeah, with 60 laps to go, though, that place can be made up as well. So if my math is correct right now, I just did some quick math. So right now, we're looking at the battle between Max Service and Max Service and Matthew Setzer. And we're looking at the battle between James Gilliard and Farron Elam Jr. So that battle right now, Max Service would have to finish 9 places in front of Matthew.
Gilliard just spun on pit entry.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt so much.
So he just came in to make his pit stop. You were saying, Devin.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Cause, oh my gosh, yeah, that's really gonna hurt the 33's chances. He was right on the bubble. So basically what's gonna happen here is James Gilliard needed to finish
no damage, but lost time.
12. Yeah, he needed to finish 12 places in front of the 98 truck, which right now he was. But with that spin, we'll have to see what happens because that's really going to hurt his time. There's now damage on that truck, so he's not going to be as competitive anymore as he was earlier in the race. And I did say that this pit road entry is tricky. It could catch some guys out. 33, unfortunately, is the guy who's caught out that we catch first on that. But he needs to finish 12 places in front of the 98 truck. Right now, that was the case, but I don't know if it's going to be anymore after that spin. It's he's sitting in 13th, 2 laps down now.
But of course, things have got to cycle out. Is Gilliard going to be able to make this to the end? I believe he's going to have to make one more stop in this race. He can't make it to the end. Is there people who can make it to the end right now on one stop?
Yeah, I know Tyler Markle is one of those guys who's going to try and do it. He's going to be the one that we need to watch. He is on the youngest tires of the guys in the last pit cycle. As far as Max Service goes, he needs to finish 9 places in front of Matthew Setzer to kind of jump him. But then it's going to come down to, maybe Matthew Setzer can stay in. Farron Elam might fall out. It's really, really close between all of those drivers. Seth Fitzpatrick sitting pretty in 3rd. He's moved up in front of those 2 drivers. Seth Berger, the same. He was sitting tied with Matthew Setzer. 15 points ahead of the cut line. Both of those drivers seem to be safe at this point in time. So it's kind of come down to that 4-truck battle. Matthew Setzer, Farron Elam Jr., Max Service, and James Gilliard. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Like I said, where they need to finish, where they've gained on those guys in front of them. Matthew Setzer and Farron Elam not getting any stage points so far. Max Service and James Gilliard both scoring in both stages. So now it just comes down to the finish of this race. And I do believe, like I said, 12 places in front of Farron Elam is what James Gilliard's target needs to be. 9 places in front of Matthew Setzer is what Max Service's goal needs to be. It's a lot closer to Farron Elam. Max Service almost guaranteed in over Farron Elam right now. So it's kind of like Farron Elam versus Matthew Setzer versus James Gilliard. So maybe we can eliminate it down to 3 that Max Service has gotten those stage points. I think he is 6 points clear of Farron Elam at the moment, which would put Farron Elam on the outside. So Farron Elam needs to catch up to Matthew Setzer. Matthew Setzer needs to stay clear of James Gilliard. So I think Farron Elam might be out at this point. So now it's just catching Matthew Setzer, which is going to be an even harder task for the 33 truck.
Right, great work there, Devin. And we still gotta, we gotta recall that Gilliard has to have this pit cycle play out. And he's got to be absolutely on it. He's got to gain as many spots as he can. So I know the spinning doesn't help, but he was up there within the top 10. And he should be able to retain some spots when the pit cycle does eventually cycle out. So we have a lot to juggle here, a lot of math. Again, beautiful math being done by Devin. I think I'm getting from Adam Gardner that the points deficit or the points gap for Gilliard. I'm sorry. The points gap needs to be 11 points. I'm sorry, 11 spots, not 12. This is a lot.
Yeah, this is just real quick math
Right.
doing just right here on a pen and paper that I'm doing.
None of this is
So,
official, of
not
course,
official,
until post
not
race.
official. Yeah, exactly. Not official at the moment. I'm trying to keep up with Matthew Setzer and James Gilliard. I think it's going to come down to those two drivers at the moment, as far as being so close. It's, oh my gosh, it's so close right now. I think that Matthew Setzer still is in the playoffs where he sits at the moment, but it is so close. I think it's only a separation of maybe 11 points.
Right, so yeah, so that's what it is. So right now, because of where Gilliard is sat right now, waiting for pit stops to cycle out. Right now, Elam is in +2 over Gilliard from Adam Gardner. So we're, but that's factoring in where Gilliard is at the moment. We still have to let cycles play out. So it'll be intriguing to see where it's all cycles out. How much time did Gilliard lose perpendicular to the pit lane? Oh, near contact there between Joseph Cosby as he tries to power by for a spot.
Yeah, the 33 is not wasting time. I think he knows how much he needs to make up now. Now he's passing second place Seth Berger, trying to get his lap back, at least one of them, back as quickly as possible. He is 2 laps down currently. Wants to get one of them back the hard way. Maybe if he gets that one back, he can be possibly eligible to take the wave around, or maybe, if he can get these guys in front of him who are 1 lap down. Doug Solms, I see there's 1 lap down. Gathright Causey, I think he just passed Causey though, so that might be a hard pick. Oh, big sideways there, trying to pass the lap car. But yeah, it could be a big ask, but possibly able to take the wave around. Maybe hope for a quick caution after that to get tires and stay on the lead lap, be competitive again. But man, yeah, that 33 kind of dig himself a hole right there with that spin on pit road.
Man, if it comes down to just making it on the pit lane, maybe taking a little slower, but making it in at the the correct angle, of course, not spinning, that's going to be something else. On the pit lane now is Joshua Gaffright. The 77 of Seth Berger is in, trying to find a way around Gaffright, who's maybe a little slower on that right-hand lane. They're both traveling at 49 miles an hour down this pit lane.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting there. The 77 really checked up the 27, really checked up the 77.
Oh, and
the 77 overslid his pit box.
Oh, no. I think for Seth, he's A-okay to make the next round if he just places on the lead lap.
I think that was frustration, just missing the pit box there, just trying to push it on entry. The 27 really checked up the 77 there.
Right, and I know Seth is not feeling it right now, and there's going to be a lot of emotions, of course, because Seth's trying to be competitive with Greg Holt to see if he can win this race, and of course every little thing counts in a mind game like this, in a race that's looking like it's going to go green for the most part to the end. Just a lot. And when this round of pit stops does cycle, which might be a while till we get that, we will, of course,
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I think those are the same 2 trucks that ran into each other in New Hampshire.
Yes.
I think it was the 27 who was a lap down and was trying to hold up the 77 for Greg Holt at New Hampshire, and they ended up getting together. The 27 ended up wrecked. The 77 ended up penalized for being a cause of that wreck, or involved in the wreck. The first 2 drivers involved in a yellow that is brought out get both EOL'd. That's just a standard rule in this series, and I don't know what happened there. Maybe we can check that pit entry again with the 27 and the 77, but those are the same 2 trucks, and there again, the 77 is battling with the 3 truck for the win here. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The 27 is part of Performance Sim Sports with the 3 and the 88. So we'll see here on pit entry.
This might be a lap prior, so we'll get.
Oh yeah, he passed Causey here. So Causey having a rough night. He was given an EOL for the first lap incident with Brad Bothwell. Bothwell, of course, major damage on that truck. Finally got it back on the track now, but the 88 was penalized and just has not been able to recover. So we see there the 77 gets by the 88.
All right, this might be a lap sooner. Here.
I think this is a couple laps sooner. I think they come in on the next lap. Yeah, the 27 had just gone a lap down, I believe, when he came into pit.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get it here soon.
Yep, I think it's maybe the next lap because he was right. They were right on top of each other.
So here we go. We got it here. This is Gaffrey coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, you can see how much further the 27 is up the track than the 77. And I know the 77 is trying to push everything he can.
Oh, Gaffrey.
Oh, the 27 loses it, and then he pulls up in front of the 77. 77 trying to nail the entry. And, yeah, this 27 just lost it on entry. It cost him so much time. Just then tried to get to the outside. That's another rule in this series. You have to maintain it furthest to the right-hand side of that pit entry or closest to the outside wall, not where the pit boxes are. Otherwise, you are penalized. The 77 you see moved under the 27, just trying to avoid contact. So he was allowed to do that just to try and maintain his line. But that little holdup did cost the 77
is in, Greg Holt. Max Service is staying out and getting a lap lead, which will add another point to factor in for Max Service.
Yep, and he has gained, that's the first bonus point he's gained tonight, so that's going to put him very much clear of Matthew Setzer at this point in that battle, full-on clear of Farron Elam Jr.
Greg Holt is down and away, and guys, I think they can make it to the end. That's 37 laps to go. Gilliard's going to have to make maybe another pit stop.
Yep, Gilliard will have to make another stop. Gilliard is running on 21 laps right now. He cannot make it to the end.
That is huge. Pass-through penalty, Seth Berger, for that pit entry and trying to, I guess, overtake Joshua Gaffrey on the pit entry.
I have to say, just off of what we saw on that pit entry, I know that they probably wanted him to back off and let the 27 go, but I think that he couldn't have played it any better. He's trying to get as much time as he can. He let him go at the end, and then he moved to the right-hand side of the track, but or of the pit lane. So I don't know if I agree with that one. I understand. I understand the rule. I understand the rule, but just how that entry happened and seeing that whole thing play out the way it did, I don't know if I fully agree with that penalty. Other than maybe if they were given, yep. So he's short pitting here to make it to the end, but yeah, just with everything that happened right there, I don't know if I agree fully. With that, I get it, and I think that they probably just wanted Seth to give the 27 basically the place in front of him and pull in behind him. I think that is what their mindset is, but I just don't know with everything we saw and what the 77 is fighting for. He was trying to pit a lap early, see if he could possibly get up to the 3 and make it a battle hill for this last one, but yeah, that pretty much takes the 77 out of contention. What that does do is free up the number 2 truck of Seth Fitzpatrick. He has a lot of speed in that truck, frees him up to try and make a run here at Greg Holt.
All right, we're still waiting for everything to cycle out. Tyler Markle's still out here waiting for his pit stop. We'll have to see where this all cycles out. Where does Tyler Markle end up? I believe there's going to be... here comes Tyler Markle to pit lane. I believe Seth Berger is protesting that. Then that Gaffrey was going 46 miles per hour down the entire length of pit lane.
Yep. Yeah, I just heard that on the radio as well. He is protesting.
So that'll be looked at. I guess it'll be looked at more in depth post race. It's going to be intriguing if Berger, I mean, so he came into today's race 15 above the cut line. I mean, I think he should be fine even if he loses the protest, because he's just going to get demoted to last truck on the lead lap, I believe, or first truck 1 lap down. So even if he loses the protest, he should make the next round of playoffs.
Yeah, with the issues that James Gilliard has run in tonight, Fair Elam and Matthew Setzer, and the stage points, 2 second places, and 2 laps led, or sorry, one lap led by the 77 truck. I think he will be okay, even if he does lose that protest. But he just doesn't want to lose any more spots. Wants to set himself up a little bit better for the next round, possibly just keep the momentum on his side. And I'm also thinking, this frustration probably stems over from an incident, that probably cost him the win at New Hampshire. So
Seth
probably
Berger is, I think we're still waiting for it to cycle out.
Yeah,
he's still
back
23 seconds off of Greg Holt.
Yeah, well, that was because he got held up so much and he missed his pit box.
Yeah, I guess I'd imagine so. That's essentially, I think he served this penalty just on the track.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, missing his pit box and being held up the way he was by the 27.
No, that might be penalty enough.
Yeah, I think that's penalty enough, especially if the 27 was going 46 miles an hour on a 50 mile an hour pit road, and he's kind of, all right, I'll give you the spot back, and then you're just not going. It's like, okay, now you're just holding me down here.
Right, and again, with what they've had run-ins before, and again, last time they had a run-in, it was again Greg Holt and Seth Berger going at it for the race win, and once again Seth Berger tangles with another lap vehicle. This time, not physically, I guess more mentally, tangles with the lap truck. And so from Adam Gardner, and we will confirm these, of course, when the points go in post-race, but unofficially locked in is Greg Holt, Joseph Causey, Jeremiah Stutzman, Brad Bothwell, Kyle Lingerfelt, Tyler Markle, let's see who, the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick, 77 of Seth Berger. On here it says the 5 of Matthew Setzer's locked in, but I want to see how the points shake out between Gilliard before I want to say that's official.
Yeah, it's so close right now, and like I said, with the issues that James Gilliard ran into, if he would have kept that truck clean on that pit stop, it would have been close. He still would have probably had to make another pit stop and all that, but he would have been able to come through the field a lot better. So it would have been interesting to see what he did on that final charge, this final run here. But I think with that pit road entry issue with the 33 truck, I think he pretty much cost himself the playoffs there. So I think that's what the league owner, Adam Gardner, is talking about, with the 5 truck being now up to 16th place, 18 laps down. Getting those extra positions really, really helped him, and really, I think, possibly going to be solidified. So.
So we continue on here. We're now into the final 26 laps left here at the virtual Kentucky Speedway. We're going to go ahead and step aside. Don't you go anywhere. We'll have post-race coverage in the finale here of round number 1, the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. We'll see who's in, who's out on the far side of this break. Don't you go anywhere.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back, race fans, to the virtual Kentucky Speedway. There is now 19 laps remaining in the first round of the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Trucks playoffs. We're here for Elimination Wednesday with, here in the virtual Bluegrass State, Greg Holt, of course, won last week at the Kansas Speedway and is looking to duplicate wins here in round number 1. And we continue on and look at Greg Holt on what has been a absolutely dominant performance thus far. 6.5 seconds over Seth Fitzpatrick, 14 seconds over Max Service. Andrew Pratt is not out of the realm of going back-to-back on podiums tonight. This part of the season.
No, he's not. I mean, he has slowly been catching and whittling away at Max Service. And I do believe that Pratt did pit a little earlier than Max, so Max's tires should start coming around a little bit now, and he should start to pull away again, more than likely. But Andrew Pratt putting on a heck of a drive tonight. I mean, a top 5 finish for him is just be ecstatic, not being a playoff driver right now. So I'm sure he would be happy with the 4th place finish. He's kind of comfortably there. It's got about 4 seconds behind him to Ben Park, so I think he will be ecstatic with this finish.
Right, and I mean, absolutely, you just want great runs, of course, to for your own sake. But man, to feel to kind of just miss the playoffs and then show up in the playoffs and start putting together runs that would get you solidly into the next round. That's maybe kind of hurt, but I don't think Andrew Pratt's looking at it like that. I think Andrew Pratt's just out there having fun, finally getting some good runs and having fun out there. Really, I think the pressure of making the playoffs being off his shoulders and the pressure of having to contend and push his heart out off his shoulders, I think has given him the opportunity to just go out there and try some things and drive the truck.
Yeah, and when you can focus on just driving, and all the pressure is off of, okay, where do I need to finish? What guys do I need to beat to make it to the next round? And you just go out there, it's like, you know what? I'm going to go out, I'm going to get the best finish I can. If I can win this thing, I'm going to win it. And that's all you're focused on. It takes so much pressure off. You're just out there, trying to have some fun now and trying to build momentum for the next season. And I can kind of relate to that sentiment. A league that I run in, I got eliminated from the playoffs in the first round. So now I'm just out there for fun. I'm out there to try and get maybe try and get a win, but just to get the best finishes that I can, for my team and for myself for next season.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, here we are, 13 laps remaining here, Kentucky. Nothing out of the realm of possibility. What's going on here is Joseph Causey is now 7/10. This is behind or ahead? Is this right behind Joshua Gaff, right? A battle for position that doesn't really have any bearing on the playoff standings. Causey solidly in just by starting tonight's race into the next round. But here he is on Joshua Gaff, right? I think this also is an opportunity to go ahead and shout out some of our partners here at PitStop TV, and of course that of Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. We're also presented by Permanent Makeup in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. Need to shout out Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV and BAM Racing Videos. By a race fan for the racing community. 11 laps to go. And the closest battle on track is this battle for ninth. Essentially, it is the only battle on track. And we have our eyes on it. Gaff right, trying to see if he can hold off teammate Joseph Causey.
Yeah, everybody's kind of really spread out there. Greg Holt has lapped Devin Smith up to 8th place. The next car go a lap down will be the 77, which the 3 truck is on the 77 right now. So we might see with 10 to go here, the 77 get lapped. Then the next car up the road, I don't know if he'll catch that. It would be Tyler Markle in 6th place. But, yep, this is the closest battle. Gathray in front of Joseph Causey. And Causey's been closing little by little each lap. He should be able to get there before the end of the race. But, yeah, man, Causey out here just running. Had a chance to win it. Got involved in that lap 1 incident. Got penalized. And went to the back and just couldn't find his way forward after that. The 27 slides way up the track here in turn 3 and 4. And that allows the 88 make up a lot of time there.
Here we go. Causey trying to see if he can get to the outside. He's got to battle through Max Ivers. I guess Max Ivers has got to battle through them. But it's intriguing that Causey is on 7-lap fresher tires. And he's kind of struggling here trying to get to Gaff right and get past. Of course, Max Service trying to get past doesn't help in all this. Service in 3rd, just trying to hold on to that podium position. Right in between a couple of these Performance Sim Sport trucks. That's Swift Racing number 81. And Max just trying to work his way through. He knows he's in. He's just got to, make it to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and he's just, trying to run his race right now, which he's a lot faster than these guys at the moment. And they're not really moving out of the way. They're battling themselves for a position here. But I'm sure the 81's like, get out of the way, get out of the way. But, they're running their race too. They're battling for position. Finally, the 88 looks to get to the inside of the 27. They're going to slide off of turn number 4. The 88 has the position for the moment, but the 27 can fight back with that run off the turn. Now the 88 is going to have the preferred line in 1 and 2. He should be able to complete this pass now. Let's see what happens. He's trying to maybe try to slide up in front of his teammate. Who gets loose off of the turn?
Down the back straightaway now. Gaffright trying to hold up that outside lane as Causey trying to take the spot away. Side by side still for the 9th position. Coming around this time, it'll be 6 laps to go in this battle.
Yeah, and the 27 truck putting up a big fight on the
Oh.
outside. Ooh, I thought that was a lot closer than it was there. But the 88 falls back in line, gets a little bit lower in turns 1 and 2. Tries to get a better run off of the turn. He got loose off this turn last time. This time he makes it stick a little better, has the run as we go down the backstretch.
Into turn 3, this is a very flat corner, 14 degrees of banking. Send her on in there, trying to make it stick, but Gaffride will get to the throttle first on that outside lane and clear back in front of his teammate. Joseph Causey on 7-lap fresher tires, still struggling.
Yeah, struggling indeed. I mean, the best thing that Gaffride can do is not give up that outside lane. It is working right now for his big defense to keep into that 9th place position, but Causey backs off a little bit down the straightaway, trying to set up a better run into this turns 3 and 4. He's a lot faster through the center of the turn. He's just not able to put the power down off being on the inside lane, but this time he gets off the turn a lot better, having been able to run his lane that he wants to run. He gets into turns 1 and 2 right on the back bumper of the 27.
4 laps to go, looking to the outside now, but he can't get out there. He's going to file back in line, have to try the inside once again, or at least try to stick with him if that right front tire is overcooked. Into turn 3 once again. Now 3 laps to go this time by the start-finish line. They still rock nose to tail. Gaffride may just do this. He may just hold him off.
Yeah, he's putting up a masterful defense on the 88 truck. Again, 7-lap younger tires the 88 truck has, but the 27 able to keep him bay. The 88 sends it to the outside again through turns 1 and 2, trying to get a run to the outside. He knows that's how he can possibly pass his truck. Almost clips the wall off of turn 2.
Continuing on now to come around to 2 laps to go, and it'll be something I guess we keep tabs on. But with that, 2 laps to go. We haven't given this guy his due TV time tonight, and quite frankly, well, he's already into the next round, and we were covering the cut line for the most part. But Greg Holt, I mean, what a dominant performance. He didn't take the pole. He didn't lead the first lap. He had to fight through Seth Berger. Right now, Greg Holt will take full white flag presented by Tucson Sound Art, www.tucsonsoundart.com. And Greg Holt, I mean, a masterful job. He's led 119. If he comes around through these final 2 corners, he's going to lead 120 of the 140 laps, combined out with the dominant performance last week as well. I mean, an absolutely stellar first opening round of the playoffs for Greg Holt. He'll go back-to-back to kick off the playoffs.
Yeah, back-to-back drive here for Greg Holt. Masterful driving, opens up a huge lead. And, oh my gosh, Berger actually congratulations there, pulls beside him and says, great job. I don't know if the 77 would have been able to catch him here, but he definitely, man, that 3 truck was just so strong all night long.
Looks like these boys got into it a little bit. Let's see this battle for the 9th position that gone on between Joseph Causey and Joshua Gaffride. Causey got to the inside and Gaffride off of turn 4. I don't know about that.
Did he try to cut it through the grass to get to position?
I don't think he got. I think Causey still got him.
Yeah, he still got him. But I think that's what he tried to do. Causey bullied his way, pushed him up the track in 3 and 4. And the 27 looked to try and dive it through the grass to maybe like cut the straightaway there, cut the tri-oval, and get the position. It just did not work. But interesting final turn here.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, he roughed him up. He rubbed him. Rubbin's racing. And then he wanted to cut the course here. And I guess this isn't the FIA. There's no time penalties here for anything like that. But through the tri-oval grass, he did not get there.
A little bit of Baja trucking at the end here.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, man, oh, man.
Yeah, Greg Holt is burning it down now here on the front stretch. A straight line burnout for the number 3 truck.
As he should. Absolutely dominant performance again from the 3 of Greg Holt in his Lego My Ego Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, what more can be said about that 3 truck? I mean, we'll get the interview with him here in a minute. Emerson will have that, but I mean, dominant first round of the playoffs, and just the momentum going into the mile and a halfs. I mean, if you think about it, he's got to be the guy to beat. He's got to be the favorite as we go into Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. And he needs to. He needs to be the favorite going into Texas for his own sake. Because I've come out of the booth. I've raced them in the officials at that, but I raced them at NAS Daytona Road Course, and he's not feeling the road courses, as he said his Kansas interview. But we'll get to hear from him once again tonight here from the virtual Kentucky Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage from the Bluegrass State. And who's in and who's out on the far side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Kentucky Speedway. We're now in the post-race coverage of the Outlaws Sim Series Race 17 of 22, playoff race number 2, the end of round number 1, Elimination Wednesday. We will get the official tallies tonight before we are off the air. But before we go off the air, of course, we still have to talk to our amazing podium finishers, and that, of course, is the same driver who did the job last week, back-to-back in the first round. Now the winningest driver on the season, Greg Holt. Greg, back-to-back weeks where you absolutely lighted up out a mile and a half, knowing that you need to perform next week at Texas more than anything. How has this round been? And I guess stringing it together with Kansas and Kentucky, kind of getting it done here in the middle of the country.
Yeah, no, feels good. I mean, we just came out the race. That was it. I mean, we really only practiced on a set for maybe an hour and a half before the race, and guess we found more than we thought. I wasn't really sure what we were going to have. It was unfortunate on that lap one stuff. Heard a lot of good cars, so that may have helped us. I don't know. I mean, felt like we had speed and we were consistent throughout the whole run, so it was fun. It was a good run.
Well, that of course, the only real I think competition you had to face tonight was Seth there at the beginning of the race. So I guess more than anything, to talk about how you got that overtake done, and then what after you set sail, what was on your mind?
I was just letting the tires heat up after because he came from what 7th, 8th on that first start to get by when everybody was parting the seas to avoid the wreck. He ended up making out, and getting right up there. So then once that ensuing restart happened, I just wanted to get behind him, let the tires heat up, and then get by him before they started to wear, which he did. And I just kind of ride, and once he had a little bit of an advantage, and then every time he pitted, it grew, and I was all right with it. I wasn't feeling pressured. I could just kind of do what I wanted to do.
So the strategy tonight, I think, with the addition of that caution. Now, first, did you pit on that first caution? I think you were one of those who did.
No, I did not. I stayed out.
It seemed today that the two-stop was just much more attainable than Kansas, and I think that's coupled with the off-throttle time. But was the strategy a simple two-stop if it went, green mostly wire-to-wire like it did?
Yeah, especially after that first caution. I mean, my thing was telling me it could make it between 48 and 50 laps, and it was only a 140-lap race, so I don't even think we needed the first caution and could have made it. So yeah, I was just planning on doing two stops. As long as there weren't any other cautions, we were going to be good to go.
Fair enough. Well, Greg, once again, getting it done at Kansas and Kentucky, the first round, that's great and all, but next round, has the Charlotte Roval, prefaced by the Texas Motor Speedway. Going into next week, I know you said it last week that you need to really nail Texas down. How are you feeling about the Texas Motor Speedway, and how do you think you'll be able to execute next week?
It's all just keeping it clean. That's it. So hopefully we can just keep it clean, and then hopefully the cards fall our way after. I mean, we do pretty good at most of the ovals, so it's just another mile and a half, or it's Texas. It's drafty, and you won't be able to get away real easy, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can come up with. I'm not worried. We'll practice for the Roval. We're not the best. We don't have to finish at the front of the Roval. We finish somewhere mid-pack at the Roval, complete the race. The other two places, as long as we don't wreck ourselves out, we'll be good.
Fair enough. Well, Greg Holt, once again, I think that was his fourth time this season, you get the win here in the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Truck season. We'll give you the floor to shout out if you got a shout out. Thank you, ever got to thank for dominating tonight. 120 laps led.
I'd like to thank Adam Gardner for putting on Outlaw Sim Series. He does a great job. I'd like to thank you and your compadre. You guys do a wonderful stream. I love to watch it after the race. And shout out to everybody at Performance Sim Sport. Causey, Schroeder, Gathright, Miz, Christian was in here. I know, and Stutzman was in there for a little while. There's just a bunch of us, we're just doing this to have fun. Tonight was a fun race. It was. I wish everybody else had a little more luck.
Absolutely. Well, once again, Greg, congratulations. Well done on your fourth victory in the season. Another one in dominant fashion. And best luck to you next week at Texas, and of course the next round, the rest of the playoffs as you embark into the second round, Greg.
What is the third race in the second round of the playoffs?
There is no third race. There are 2 race rounds.
It's just 2?
Yes.
Oh no! So it's Texas and the Roval. Now
right.
I have to rethink my thinking. I'm gonna start practicing now. Jeez. Are you available that week?
I should be. I actually wouldn't mind just hot lapping one of these babies.
That's fine. All right, excellent. We'll see you then.
Right on. The 3 of Greg Holt there, 4-time race winner of the season, hungry for more as he approaches virtual Fort Worth, Texas next week. Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you.
Again, Greg Holt, 4-time race winner of the season. Now, second place finisher. This driver had such a quiet evening, but quiet, I guess, means good if you're the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick, Devin Zimmerman standing by.
Yeah, quiet evening for the number 2 truck, the number 2 finisher tonight. Second place, Seth Fitzpatrick. Seth, I mean, kind of talk us through. You made it through that first race or first lap incident, and then from there it was just kind of managing the tires, I guess. Kind of talk us through your race there from that first lap incident on.
Oh, it was just fighting tight the whole race. Couldn't get it out of it. And I thought I made a little headway on the first stop, but the second one, I don't know, I done something. Made it worse, but that's really all it was. It's pretty boring for me, just trying to get it to turn the whole race.
Well, you made it turn enough to get the second place finish. You also secured enough stage points to really secure your place into the second round without even having to have such a great finish. Was that on your mind at all at any point tonight? I know you were somewhat close to that cut line. Was it just kind of push to the front as quickly as possible and just kind of stay there?
My goal was really just top 5, and I think we kind of lucked into that one tonight, because I think there's a few guys that got their nights ruined that could have spoiled the party a little bit tonight. But no, that was just my goal, was a top 5.
I understand that, but now you're through to the next round. This round is over. We're going to go to Texas next week, and then the Charlotte Roval to close out round 2. Kind of tell us what your feelings are for round 2 of the playoffs.
Well, I hate the new Texas, if that's the one we're going to, but I love the Roval, so it's kind of...
Yeah, it is the new Texas, so...
Yeah, I hate the new Texas. It ain't never been good to me very much, but we're going to give it our best shot. But the Roval, love it.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there. I mean, that last road course we went to, Watkins Glen, you put up a big fight to Joseph Causey. We're definitely looking forward to possibly some more good fights between you and Joseph Causey at the Roval. I love the Roval so much myself. It's going to be a very good race and a very interesting round 2, and it only picks up in intensity from there. So good luck the rest of the way, Seth. We'll go ahead and give you the floor now. Shout out whoever you got to shout. Thank whoever that to thank.
Well, I want to thank Adam for putting all this on, and and John, Mickey, Tim, and John's help got me to where I'm at in this playoff. So those are the people I like to thank, and Matt Rogers with Rogers Racer Apps for the sweet paint scheme he made for me for the playoffs. So
well, very nice. It is a good looking Hooters truck, and we wish you luck at Fort Worth, Texas next week. Continue putting some massive runs together for that number 2 truck, and we'll see you then.
All right, see you, man.
And that was our second place finisher, Seth Fitzpatrick. We're going to go ahead and bring up the third place finisher, Max Service, another one of those guys. This guy was on the outside looking in, Emerson. You're standing by.
Coming into tonight's race, the 81 of Max Service was facing a pretty tough 6-point deficit to Farron Elam. The way practice was shaping, it looked like Farron was going to be able to try to maintain that margin. But unfortunately, I think the first lap incident had a lot to say about it. But Max, you put on a great performance yourself with stage points in both stages, with placing 4th in both stages, and coming home in 3rd to easily point your way into the next round, Max. I say job well done, but what say you?
I think it was pretty good. Probably should have been 4th, but Seth got an unfortunate penalty there on the last round of pit stops. But overall, solid run all race. I figured I could probably point my way in, but I didn't think we'd be sitting that good on points as I think we were. I don't really know how it played out, but a lot of guys had issues in that first lap wreck, so that certainly helped out a lot there, making it in. I think it would have been really close otherwise, but I'd like to think we could have pulled it off.
Absolutely. I think, the runs you had this season, I think Kansas was an unfortunate set of circumstances that kind of placed you the way it was. You now look forward to the next. I think tonight you had a really quiet day, and then the lap lead will help as well. But we look forward now to the next round with the Texas Motor Speedway. A nifty little mile and a half. Love and hate relationship for most drivers. and then the Charlotte Roval. You look forward to the next round, and what's your game plan to kind of avoid putting yourself in a situation like that at the Charlotte Roval?
Well, this round I knew was gonna be my worst round. I'm terrible, like really, really bad at Kansas, and I'm not much better at Kentucky. But we got the setup right this week, so it helped out a lot more. But next round, Texas is the wild card. We should run okay at the Roval, which is weird for me to say, as I'm not great at road courses. But I don't know. Texas is the wild card. I love Texas, but open setups always is a little different.
Fair enough. But at that, Max, you said tonight, you said that this round you were not looking forward to because it's Kansas and Kentucky. But how, you said you hit the setup. What did the setup do specifically tonight that really helped you out to get that podium?
We qualified good. That was a big starter there. I blew up on my third lap of qualifying. That's how taped out it was. But started up around 8th, not great, but not bad, good enough. And then that first lap incident that we made it through barely, really helped out a lot. But our truck was just really, really good on tires. I know we really kind of focused on the wrong end of the racetrack. We were really good in 1 and 2, whereas like Greg was a lot better in 3 and 4, which is where we probably should have been better. But we didn't want to loosen it up all race just to be better at that end of the racetrack. We were too tight there, because towards the end of the runs, like last 15 laps on tires, the rear end started to get a little happy on the truck in 1 and 2, and we really didn't want to do that, especially the scenario me and Seth were both in, where we were going to be very, very comfy on points. We didn't want to risk anything. We were just happy to finish wherever we were running at the time, and just not wanting to make a change to it. It was really good, but obviously not winning potential, but still solid setup.
I think a very solid setup, a very solid day indeed. Of course, getting that 1 lap lead, another extra bonus point in case things were a little tight. But Max, easily pointing your way into the next round. You have the Texas Motor Speedway up next on the docket, but we'll give you the floor here to shout out. We got a shout out. Thank you. We're gonna thank. Who makes it happen for you?
We got to give a shout out to Burger Nation. We got Liftworks, Flood Brothers, Mad Dogs, and of course Burger Arts. Go follow them on Instagram. Go follow Seth with his clothing brand there. It's all over his truck. You can find it there.
Yeah, absolutely. But at Berg_Arts with a Z, that at Forrest clothing line there. But once again, Max, congratulations on the podium finish. But I think more importantly, clawing your way out of that hole from Kansas and making your way into the next round. Best luck to you at Texas.
Thank you.
That was Shriver of the number 81 with the third place finish tonight. And yeah, Devin, you know what? For the way Kentucky normally is, I think with it being a cutoff race, added a lot to this race. I think we would have struggled a little bit on what to cover tonight if we didn't have, of course, overwhelmingly large stories at the cut line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kentucky can kind of get drawn out like that. It's such a difficult track to get right. Like you said, 1 and 2 are different than 3 and 4, but it's so, like, it's only 3 degrees of banking difference, but the way that the turns run, it's just so much different to drive, and this track can get very easily into a one groove racetrack, and when you don't see a lot of passing, you don't see a lot of pretty much anything. Everybody just kind of gets strung out, and we did see that a lot tonight, but it really went into the mistakes that were made by some drivers, whether it was entering pit road or that first lap incident. And that's kind of what did all of the different playoff strategies and playoff point situations in for tonight.
Absolutely. And with that, also, the third race in a row, the Outlaws Sim Series only have 1 caution. This is the Outlaws Sim Series that I'm used to very much so. Running majority caution free, of course, when everybody's all packed up on these starts and not everybody's entirely sure what everybody else's setups are going to do. That's kind of how incidents start. But a wild results tab is what we're going to have to go through tonight. just because of everything that happened on that lap 1 throughout the race, and of course the playoff implications. But let's start with Greg Holt at the top of the results tab. 8 seconds clear of his competition, 120 laps led, utter domination. Greg Holt looking like the odds-on championship favorite at this moment. But then we look at Seth Fitzpatrick with the second place finish. Max Service getting the great podium tonight. There in third, Andrew Pratt fourth. Benjamin Park comes home with a great fifth place finish for him. Great finishes for both Andrew Pratt and Benjamin Park. Non-playoff drivers, but some nice highs this season. Tyler Markle there in sixth. Seth Berger with his pass-through penalty comes home in the seventh position. Devin Smith will be eighth, 1 lap down. Also, Joseph Causey ninth, 1 lap down, and Mr. Baja himself, Joshua Gaffrey, comes home 10th, cutting across the infield. Can't believe he didn't get a slowdown.
That was interesting for that one there. I don't know if it registers slowdowns on ovals or not, but we'll move on to Doug Soames, who comes home 11th. I think that's one of his better finishing positions this season. Didn't really talk about it much, but he had a quiet night, and quiet nights tonight were a good thing. James Gilliard just going to miss off on the playoff second round, I believe, with that 12th place finish, finding trouble in pit lane entry. Andrew St. Cour is going to come home 13th, again, 2 laps down. Brando Barnett, we saw him run into issues with the 47 truck of Andrew Schroeder. He comes home 11 laps down, 14th. Jeremiah Stutzman, involved in that first lap incident, was able to keep it to 12 laps down. He comes home 15th. Kyra Lingerfeld, again, another victim of that first lap incident, 23 laps down is 16th. Matthew Setzer, who's going to stay alive by the skin of his teeth, just getting that truck back out on track, picking up some ever valuable positions, going to come home in 17th, 45 laps down. Farron Elam, again involved in that first lap incident, comes home 60 laps down. And 18th, I do believe he's going to miss out on the next round. Jason Miz found the wall quite a bit in the second run after the first caution. He comes home in 1965 laps down. Then Andrew Schroeder called it quits after he spun off of turn 4, having made contact with the 95 and the 63. He comes home 76 laps down and 20th. Brad Bothwell, 21st, 84 laps down. Wrap 1 incident. Christian Converse tagged the wall hard. He comes home 22nd, 110 laps down. Eric Peck, 23rd, 135 laps down. First lap incident victim. And Landon Lacey, another first lap incident victim, comes home in 24th.
And with that, the points still unofficial because they have to be cross-checked. But I think very much so, I can say this with confidence. The drivers who are in the next round of playoffs for sure, obviously, is Greg Holt, Joseph Causey, Seth Fitzpatrick, Jeremiah Stutzman, Tyler Markle, Seth Berger, for sure. And then you look towards drivers who struggled tonight: Brad Bothwell, Kyle Lingerfeld. They are in. And now, those are 8 names. We said Causey, Holt, Fitzpatrick, Stutzman, Bothwell, Lingerfeld, Markle, Berger. Now, as we get closer to the cut line, Matthew Setzer does point his way in. Max Service does point his way in. That means Farron Elam and James Gilliard do not. So, season's ending tonight, effectively. At least championship contenders no longer. Joshua Lane Fox, James Gilliard, Farron Elam Jr. have been eliminated from playoff contention at the conclusion of tonight's race. And that being said, it's tough when seasons come to an end, but there's still a lot of momentum on the side of drivers like Gilliard, who's having a great run tonight, and Elam and Joshua Fox. 3 drivers, I think, who they should definitely continue on throughout this season. They might just pull through one of these weeks and get a win, or some podium finishes or something like that, because they've had some great runs. It's the reason why they're playoff drivers, just unable to make the circumstances work in their favor this first round.
Yeah, and I mean, that you could take a book out of what Andrew Pratt is doing, coming home 4th place finish, a second top 5 in a row, just gathering momentum for next season, stringing some top 5 finishes together. I mean, that's got to be the goal if you got eliminated now. Just go out there and focus on yourself, focus on getting ready for the next season. And I truly hope that these drivers that got eliminated come out and do that. It's so much fun to watch them all races.
Absolutely. So that being said, Next up is the round of 10. It is 2 races. The Texas Motor Speedway, the Charlotte Roval is the next round. At the end of the Charlotte Roval, 55 laps there, 140 laps at Texas. We will eliminate another 3 drivers, and that'll give us 7 drivers contending for 4 spots in that round at Talladega and Bristol. But we have some other broadcasts coming up this week. If you're a fan of the channel, or even if you're not, you should definitely check out season finales, dual season finales. Tomorrow night, the Midwest Sim Racing Association Truck Series presented by VFW. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The brand new Phoenix Raceway brought to iRacing. Updated, of course, when they faced their real-life renovations in 2018. The new start-finish line location, the updated pit lane, of course, the gorgeous victory lane that drivers have been able to access. All there when we go live tomorrow night for the Midwest Sim Racing Association Truck Series presented by VFW season finale tomorrow night. I'll have to pull up the point standings there in just a moment to get you exactly who is into the next round. I know I covered these races. I don't have these known off the top of my head. I'll obviously recap them tomorrow. But then Friday night as well, another season finale for the Midwest Sim Racing Association's National Series. Friday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at, again, Phoenix Raceway. Dual Phoenix races, newly updated to the iRacing service. Dual season finales. You won't want to miss it. And then flip the script. We have GT1 racing Sunday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. The Superior Class Auto Racing GT1 series at the Barber Motorsports Park. You see the amazing spider there on that graphic. Of course, what's going on? One of the amazing marks at the Barber Motorsports Park. Just a great lineup of racing. And what's not even on this graphic is that Dirt Big Blocks will be on the channel Monday night, as the BRP iRacing Series has their season opener, 117 laps from Lima Land in Dirt Big Blocks. You won't want to miss that Monday night. And of course, we'll be back here next Wednesday night with the Outlaws Sim Series, Gunman Truck Series, playoff race number 3, race number 18 of 22 from the virtual Fort Worth, Texas at the Texas Motor Speedway. But Devin, what a slate of races we've got coming up on PitStop TV.
I mean, just tomorrow night and Friday night, the championship races for both of the MSRA series, that is something you cannot miss. We're going to crown 2 champions in 2 nights. It's going to be amazing. And then, of course, Barber Motorsports Park, always a favorite of mine to watch when it was on the IndyCar circuit. It's going to be awesome to watch these SCAR cars go around there. I can't wait to watch that one. And then, of course, the season opener event of the Big Block Dirt Series. You like Dirt Series? We got you here on PitStop TV. It's going to be amazing to see that series kick off, season 2 of that series. And you can catch it all on our social media accounts. You can see them on, I believe the first one is Facebook at facebook.com/PitStop TV, Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV, Twitter.com is /PitStop TV_, and then YouTube.com, which is /C/PitStop TV1. And you can also catch us on Twitch, and Emerson has that one for you.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV. That's what we were live on tonight. And the point standings, of course, for the drivers who are contending for a championship. Thursday night, you have to, of course, think Chris Noble, who won 2 races in that round. Alan Dobbs, who's been a long-time point leader on the season. Matt Dyer made it in. And John Gifford was in a must-win situation last Thursday night. Won at the Martinsville MSRA Truck Series race at Martinsville. Phenomenal finish that went on there. So again, tomorrow night, if you want to see all the action that goes on at the Phoenix Raceway for the Midwest Sim Racing Association Truck Series season championship finale, Alan Dobbs, Chris Noble, Matt Dyer, John Binder will be going at it for their championship Thursday night. Friday night, we have David Santini Tommy Gossett, Kenny Meadows, and Jeffrey Meyer. Those 4 drivers will duke it out for a championship in the Midwest Sim Racing Association National Series from the Phoenix Raceway. A lot of great racing coming up. Season finales, season openers, playoff racing here, GT1 racing on the weekend. A whole lot of fun here on PitStop TV. With that being said, we couldn't do this without all of our lovely partners here at PitStop TV, like Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. Visit them at www.tucsonsoundart.com. And again, that's promo code PitStop TV for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. We're also presented by Permanent Makeup in and Cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. You can visit them at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. Of course, a huge shout out to Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV. Check us out at www.pitstoptv.com/Whiplash. And of course, BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community. Check them out on Facebook for all the high quality short track racing content. And Devin, now we've gone through a round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs, and you actually we're here to cover it with me. This first round of playoffs. Final thoughts leaving this first round, heading into round 2 at the Texas Motor Speedway and the Charlotte Roval.
Be ready for the unexpected. We've seen it the last 2 weeks. These early race incidents can take out anyone. You just got to be safe, keep yourself out of it, keep yourself on the track, and eliminate mistakes. I mean, it's only going to get tougher from here. And right now, if anything is telling us, or if this series is telling us anything, it's you got to beat that 3 truck. The 3 truck, I think, at this point in time in this playoffs, is the driver to beat. You have to take advantage of beating him when you can.
I couldn't agree more. Greg Hole definitely seeming like the odds-on championship favorite. Will anybody rival him? Will anybody come out of the woodworks next week at the Texas Motor Speedway, the following week at the Charlotte Roval, and stick it to Greg Holt and Performance Sim Sport that's been just so dominant thus far? We'll have to see. But until then, that'll do it from the Bluegrass State. We're happy to have had you all here tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all on PitStop TV, Devin Zimmerman alongside me on the call this evening, Vincent Cortez on our social media coverage. My name is Emerson Arden. I want you all to have a great night. Y'all stay warm. It's starting to get cool out there. Y'all stay safe. We will see y'all next Wednesday night for the Outlaw Sim Series, Gunman Truck Series playoff race number 3, race number 18 at the Texas Motor Speedway. But please check out the Midwest Sim Racing Association Truck Series presented by VFW Championship finale tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern at the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Until then, we'll see you next time.